So if it wasn't committed during that time, were you also sleeping with other men as well?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Without using protection?
Yes.
Whole nightmare onto your child. And as long as you disrespect him, and as long as you disrespect her. Did you remember her mother being intimate with anybody else during that time?
I didn't know then. I was after me and her separated.
Mr. Richard Lapine, you...
This case was one with high stakes and quite very unusual, as the outcome of this case could send Mr. Adams to jail or keep him free. Introducing the case of Adams versus Williams, Ms. Adams expresses the urgency of the matter concerning her son, Mr. Adams, who is joining remotely from Flint, Michigan. He cannot leave his state due to legal restrictions and is facing possible arrest for unpaid child support. Both Ms. Adams and Mr. Adams aim to prove that he is not the father of Ms. Williams' 3-year-old son to avoid incarceration.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Adams versus Williams.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Adams, you say you're here today regarding a matter of extreme urgency.
Yes.
Now, your son, Mr. Adams, is joining us via satellite from Flint, Michigan. And you claim he's on the verge of being arrested for back child support.
Ms. Williams asserts that Mr. Adams is indeed the biological father of her son. She believes his legal troubles are a result of his own actions, claiming he has not taken responsibility for the child. The judge allows Mr. Adams to speak from Flint, wanting to hear his side of the story. Ms. Adams begins explaining how they ended up in this difficult situation, emphasizing the dire consequences for her son.
I mean, no, when we was young at the time, we hooked up on and off, and it just...
So it was just an on and off thing?
Yeah, it was just an on and off thing.
So if it wasn't committed during that time, were you also sleeping with other men as well?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Without using protection?
Yes.
All right, so the doubts that Mr. Adams and his mother have, they are valid doubts.
Ms. Adams is worried about her son potentially going to jail for child support on a child that both she and Mr. Adams doubt is his. Mr. Adams confirms that their relationship was not serious, recalling their first encounter at a party. He describes Ms. Williams' approach and implies that her character was questionable based on her actions. The judge questions Ms. Williams about her intentions when they met, leading to her acknowledgement that their relationship was casual and involved multiple partners.
No, Your Honor, only due to the fact that I was incarcerated, so I didn't receive any court subpoenas, anything, Your Honor. I was incarcerated.
So you didn't show up that day and you were deemed the father by default.
Ms. Williams admits to having slept with other men without protection during her relationship with Mr. Adams, validating the doubts he has about paternity. She explains that while she was pregnant, she initially believed the child was her ex-boyfriend's. After discovering he was not the father, she reached out to Mr. Adams to inform him of the possibility that he could be. However, she did not seek support from him until she had to name a potential father for state assistance.
First off, when I was dancing, the only person that ever watched my kid when I was dancing was my mom, most of the time.
You're lying, because you said your mother didn't like you and wouldn't watch the child.
So now what are you doing for yourself?
Right now, I work at Memorial Hermit in Houston, Texas.
So you have a job?
Yes, I have a job.
And you trying to better yourself?
I'm trying to better myself.
And get your life together for your child?
Yes, I am.
That's what I want to hear. And Mr. Adams, was it your understanding that you may be the father or that you were the father?
Mr. Adams explains that he did not attend court because he was imprisoned and did not receive any notifications about the proceedings. Because he missed court, he was declared the father by default. Ms. Adams shares how she learned about the situation through a conversation overheard between Ms. Williams and her daughter, in which Ms. Williams allegedly denied Mr. Adams being the father. Mr. Adams disputes this, claiming he has heard Ms. Williams say otherwise.
Asked you to take a DNA test.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. She did.
Why didn't you take it?
His excuse was he had a hangover. He couldn't get up. He was just basically being lazy.
No, my son was in jail. My son was in jail.
No, this was before he had got locked up. I asked him twice.
He was in jail.
Why didn't you take the test?
I had the papers sent to jail to have the DNA testing.
Ms. Williams insists that she never denied Mr. Adams' paternity, but admits there were times she thought it might be her ex's child during her pregnancy. The judge highlights that the confusion surrounding the paternity and the dynamics of their relationships contributed to the current situation. The discussion reveals complexities in Ms. Williams's life choices, including working at a strip club while trying to care for her child.
So I gave them my name proud, like, I'm Lassiter Adams. I ain't think I had no warrant. Come to find out, he come back to me like, oh, Mr. Adams, you got a warrant for child support. I'm like, what? And next thing you know, he put me in the back of the car in handcuffs.
And how much time did you serve for this?
Like 10 days.
Despite the tensions, Ms. Williams states that she is now working and trying to improve the quality of her life for her child. The judge acknowledges her efforts to improve and encourages both parties to focus on their child's well-being. In an interesting, Mr. Adams reflects on his understanding of the situation, mentioning that he felt excluded from discussions about paternity until it became necessary for support.
But that's not making her feel any better, because the truth is she's trying to figure out who her child's father is, not just for her, not just for support, but I'm sure these tears, this is about your child. Am I correct?
This is about my kid. I don't care about how nobody feels. I just want to get this over with.
It was clear Ms. Williams did not care. The judge points out that Ms. Williams named her child after her ex-boyfriend, which was an absolutely insane thing to do, by the way, which raises further questions about paternity. Mr. Adams asserts that he has heard rumors about other men being tested for paternity, but Ms. Williams clarifies that only her ex-boyfriend was tested. The judge continues to probe for clarity, urging them to address the main concern, determining the child's true parentage and what that means for all parties involved.
What you are is in a bad situation because of bad decisions. And what I want you to learn from this lesson is, when the court calls, you got to answer. And let me really keep it real. Because of your irresponsibility, you've created a situation where you might go to jail.
The parties of this case were not in court to play games. As much as $10,000 were at stake, and even bigger than that was the paternity of 2 children. This is the case of Redmond Jr. versus Patterson. Mr. Redmond was in court because he owed over $10,000 in child support for 2 teenage daughters, LaQuandria and Keisha, whom he claims are not his. Ms. Patterson asserts she is 100% sure that both girls are his daughters and is eager to prove this today.
Good day.
Mr. Redmond, you currently owe more than $10,000 in child support for the defendant's 2 teenage daughters, LaQuandria Redmond and Keisha Redmond, who you say are not yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson, you say you are 100% certain that both girls are his daughters, and you cannot wait to prove the truth today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Redmond, why is it taking you so long to get this issue resolved?
In a very real and upfront moment, Mr. Redmond explains that for 19 years, he has been taking care of the girls. He has been jailed for his child support debt, totaling over $16,000. Despite this, he believes neither child belongs to him. Ms. Patterson responds, saying the girls are indeed his and that she has never cheated on him, which Mr. Redmond disputes, claiming he has caught her being unfaithful multiple times.
And he had his pants down.
That is a lie.
When I walked into the bathroom, Your Honor, his pants was down, and he quickly tried to pull them up, and she stood up.
That is a lie.
What?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is a
This
lie.
is when you all were dating?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh. You're saying that's not true?
That's not true.
So what's
Mr.
this
Redmond
next
is
picture?
lying.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a picture of me coming home from work, Your Honor. This was when we was married. Your Honor, I rode a bicycle in the cold to go to work. Your Honor, when I got home, it was a tall, dark-skinned man walking out of my apartment.
That is not true, Your
Ms.
Honor.
Patterson, do you know anyone that looks like that?
To thicken the plot and prove his claims, the judge asks for Mr. Redmond to present his evidence. He shows a picture of Ms. Patterson and a man in the bathroom, suggesting inappropriate behavior. Ms. Patterson vehemently denies the accusation. Mr. Redmond insists that he has caught her cheating and recalls a specific incident where he entered their home to find a dark-skinned man leaving. Ms. Patterson claims he is fabricating stories, stating she does not know anyone matching that description.
But at this point in time, at her job, the front people told me where she was at, how to find her location. I went back there to find the location that they told me to go to.
Okay.
I observed Ms. Patterson in the bed with another man. On top of the man.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, so this is you observing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you confront her?
I didn't confront her, Your Honor. I was so hurt and discouraged. I walked away, got in my car, and left.
Well, what kind of work was she doing in this room?
She was a housekeeper.
Oh.
Mr. Redmond describes setting up a secret tape recorder in their air vent after witnessing suspicious behavior. He claims to have recorded sounds that suggest infidelity, but Ms. Patterson argues that the recording contained only static noise. Additionally, he describes a moment when he went to Ms. Patterson's workplace and found her with another man. The judge asks for details about her job, and Ms. Patterson denies any wrongdoing, stating it would have been against the rules to engage in relationships while working.
I was not.
Why do you think he is just making all of this up?
Your Honor, I don't know. To tell you the truth, this is what I used to go through when we was married. So this is basically why the marriage had ended.
All right, so let's get to the second pregnancy because you all managed to stay married long enough to get pregnant again.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why do you feel Kaisha is not your child? That's what I want to understand.
Because, Your Honor, I was so furious with Miss Patterson.
This case definitely didn't run out of its fair share of scandalous and unbelievable as it just kept giving and giving. Mr. Redmond narrates one more incident, saying he saw Ms. Patterson drinking and sitting on another man's lap at a family gathering. Ms. Patterson denies this, saying he constantly accuses her of cheating without basis. Mr. Redmond believes these incidents confirm that LaQuandria might not be his daughter. He struggles to accept the situation and feels betrayed by Ms. Patterson's actions.
Which one?
That we was all married and, had kids.
Do you remember him expressing doubt over paternity during the process?
No, Your Honor.
I've kept the children out thus far because...
May I say something, Your Honor?
No. I kept the children out thus far because I did not want them to hear this testimony and even be more confused like I am, but I would like to hear from them now. Jerome, will you please escort LaQuandria and Kaisha into the courtroom? Yes. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Please state your name for the court. You first.
Kaisha Redmond.
Kaisha. And your name?
LaQuandria Redmond.
All right. So,
moving on to another super issue, the judge shifts the discussion to their second child, Keisha. Mr. Redmond admits he was angry with Ms. Patterson during her pregnancy and claims they slept apart, contributing to his doubt about her fidelity. Ms. Patterson argues that Mr. Redmond was often absent and she took on the responsibilities of parenting, which he challenged.
Because he didn't have a house. He's always in and out of my life. He's never done anything for me.
And that hurts you?
I mean, it did, but then I had to realize again that he's nothing to me.
And so I want to hear from you, Kaisha. How has this affected you? I see the tear. Has it hurt you growing up without a father?
When we was homeless and we had nothing, we called him and he never gave us nothing when we asked for money or anything, nothing.
And this is a man you've grown up believing is your father.
Yeah, I really love him.
The argument escalates as both parties throw accusations about their parenting roles. Ms. Patterson insists she was the one caring for the children while Mr. Redmond was out. Mr. Redmond counters that he taught their oldest daughter to walk and prepared formula for the babies. He insists he was there for all the important moments, but started doubting the children's paternity only after their marriage began to fall apart.
1 or 2 times, you think that's gonna do something? It ain't gonna do nothing. You don't help my mama pay bills. You don't help us with anything. I have to come out my pocket and help pay rent. You don't do nothing. I have to get a second job just to help my mama in the house. You don't do anything. Is it because you ain't had no money to pay for no DNA test? Is that because?
LaQuandria.
Huh?
Mr. Redmond, she's speaking to you.
Reflecting on their relationship, the judge probes into Ms. Patterson's perspective, asking whether she ever thought Mr. Redmond doubted the children while they were together. As tensions rise, it becomes clear that the marriage was marked by mistrust and unresolved issues surrounding fidelity, leaving both parties eager for clarity on paternity.
The deepest part of herself and her emotions and how she feels. What is going on with you?
I mean, she's so disrespectful, Your Honor. I had to put up with the total disrespect of this young lady for a long time, Your Honor, for being called the B word, M and F in this, I don't care no more. Then I had to go to her.
So, do you believe that these are your biological children?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Everybody clap, please.
All right, you know what? I'm not gonna prolong this confusion because what I have is going to alleviate all.
Cheating on your spouse on Valentine's Day is a different level of diabolical. That was exactly the case of Fetters versus Fetters. Mr. Fetters claims that his wife is a serial cheater and that their 9-month-old son, Corbin, is not his. He wants his name removed from the birth certificate once it is proven. Ms. Fetters acknowledges her mistakes but insists that Mr. Fetters is Corbin's father and is ready to prove it in court.
Mr. Fetters, you say you're in the midst of a divorce because your soon-to-be ex-wife is a serial adulterer who even cheated on you on Valentine's Day, which you believe resulted in the birth of her 9-month-old son, Corbin.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say there is no way you are Corbin's father and would like your name removed from the birth certificate when that is proven. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Fetters states that he is in court because he does not believe he is Corbin's father. He explains that their relationship started off well until 6 months in, when Ms. Fetters revealed she had slept with one of his family members. This revelation shocked him, but he still married her after a few years. He believes her cheating continued, particularly on Valentine's Day, which he thinks led to Corbin's birth.
He has no hard facts or information, and when I do sleep with someone else, I tell him the truth.
Well, Mr. Fetters, she says if she did it, she would tell you.
I find that hard to believe because come as when he was conceived, I had to pry the information as to...
Ms. Fetters responds by calling her husband irresponsible and accuses him of being emotionally weak. She denies sleeping with the family member and claims that he is making unfounded accusations. She insists that when she does cheat, she is honest with Mr. Fetters. Ms. Fetters admits to spending a night with her ex-husband on Valentine's Day, but argues that it was not a complete sexual encounter.
She tells me and persists to tell me nothing. I said, well, what happened last night to make you feel this way? She tells me that she had slept with her ex-husband, Justin. Not only once, but 3 times during the night.
Oh, that's incorrect.
That's not incorrect. That is very factual.
Oh, my goodness.
Ms. Fetters, did you say that?
No, I did not.
What did you say?
I told him that I spent the night with him.
Was it protected sex?
Nope.
He actually didn't completely finish.
Okay, so he did not finish the act.
Correct.
And you admitted this to your husband.
Mr. Fetters describes the events of Valentine's Day, saying they went to a movie and had a good time. However, he claims that the night ended poorly when Ms. Fetters went to her ex-husband's place and slept with him. Ms. Fetters admits she spent the night with her ex but insists it wasn't a full sexual encounter, emphasizing that she communicated her actions to Mr. Fetters.
Constant
I've never had to beg and plead.
Yes, you did. You just said you did. Always.
So now this is the actual Valentine's Day.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, what a 24-hour period.
Man, it's the crazy
I don't even know why you all went to the movie. I mean, you all are making a movie. This is a full-on movie. This movie is called 50 Shades of Messy.
The judge probes into the timeline, asking how soon after the incident Ms. Fetters discovered she was pregnant. She responds that she found out a month and a half later, with the conception window aligning with her time with both men. Mr. Fetters expresses his concern about the possibility that he might not be the father, especially since they had unprotected sex shortly after her night with the ex-husband.
Because he can't have children. A doctor told him his sperm count is too low to conceive.
So did the doctor tell him he can't have it?
Yes, it's a very low chance that he can have any children. That's why I wanted
very
to
low is different than can't.
Right.
Well, he doesn't have any yet, so I don't know. I just don't think.
Do you have the paperwork?
I'm more than.
An emotionally conflicted Mr. Fetters reveals that, despite knowing about the affair, he was willing to forgive Ms. Fetters and hoped to keep their family together. The judge questions how Mr. Fetters could be intimate with Ms. Fetters just hours after learning of her betrayal. The emotional turmoil of the situation is evident as they both recount their feelings during this challenging time.
Doesn't completely fuse together. The cleft chin is a dominant trait, and a child with a cleft chin has inherited the gene from one parent or both parents.
I do not have one.
The judge reflects on the chaotic nature of the events, humorously calling it a crazy Valentine's Day, and compares their situation to a movie titled 50 Shades of Messy. The complexity of love, betrayal, and the quest for paternity creates a tense atmosphere as the court prepares for the next steps in determining Corbin's biological father.
Why does it have to be about the baby? Can't be about me?
Oh, but you have a boyfriend. Why would
what
you have
I
another
do
man
is
come
my
see
business.
you?
Who
Okay,
I have
so
come to my home is my
So,
Why
Ms.
don't believe
Fetters,
he could
are
possibly be
you
the father?
stating that you are in fact back with your ex now?
No, I am not stating that. We are very close. We've known each other over 10 years. We were high school sweethearts. We have a friendship. He does not come over for any sexual anything. He comes over to just see me.
This case will get on your nerves. From the lack of understanding of genetics to the constant bickering, get ready to have your nerves pricked. Today's case, we have Mr. Boykin and Ms. Gully. Mr. Boykin claims that his relationship with Ms. Gully was just a brief fling. After disappearing for 9 months, Ms. Gully resurfaced, asserting that he is the father of her son, Messiah Gully. Mr. Boykin is confident that he is not the child's father and plans to prove this in court. Meanwhile, Ms. Gully insists that Mr. Boykin is the only man she slept with during the time she became pregnant, and she is sure he is Messiah's biological father.
Mr. Boykin, you claim that your relationship with the defendant was nothing more than a spring fling. You say after disappearing for 9 months, Ms. Gully resurfaced claiming you fathered her son, Messiah Gully. You are certain.
The judge asks Mr. Boykin why he is certain he is not the father. He replies that they only had sex a few times, describing their relationship as a summer breeze. He claims he didn't even know Ms. Gully was pregnant. Ms. Gully counters that she is certain Mr. Boykin is her child's father because he was the only man she was with during the conception. The judge probes into their relationship, asking how they met. Mr. Boykin explains they met at a store and that their relationship was purely sexual without any commitment.
I met her at the store.
Okay.
I met her at the store, you know, talked to her a couple times. We ended up having sex a couple times. It was just a sex thing.
We exchanged numbers.
Oh, you just meet at the store, exchange numbers, then you just had sex?
That was it.
Yes. Not that same day, no.
Okay. How often were you having sex, Mr. Boykin?
A few times, Your Honor. I stopped messing with her like in August.
Were you using protection?
At first we was, but then I started.
We never used protection. Never.
And I see Messiah was born in April.
At this point, everyone is tired of this case. Mr. Boykin states that they had sex multiple times without using protection. The judge points out that since Messiah was born in April, the timing aligns with their sexual encounters, suggesting it could lead to conception. Mr. Boykin continues to deny being the father, insisting he had no idea about the pregnancy. Ms. Gully maintains that she informed him of the pregnancy when she called him from the hospital, while Mr. Boykin recalls her calling only for money.
Right.
She stopped calling me. I was never there through the pregnancy or none of that.
So, wait a minute. You saying through the whole pregnancy, you heard nothing?
Nothing.
No.
So you didn't even know she was pregnant?
He knew because I called him from the hospital.
She called me after the day she had the baby in the hospital.
I called him after I had my baby, after I cut him off, months before I had my baby, because all he did was call me, wanted to have sex. That was it. And I was sick and went up for it.
You just said, I don't want to deal with this?
Yes.
Because he wasn't trying to have a relationship.
Right.
Go to dinner, or go to the movies, or anything like that.
Ask me, I'm feeling okay. No.
Because we are not in a relationship.
As they argue about the timeline, Ms. Gully claims she contacted Mr. Boykin after Messiah was born. Mr. Boykin asserts they lost contact and he was not present during her pregnancy. The judge explains that losing contact does not negate the possibility that Mr. Boykin could still be the father. Mr. Boykin shares his feelings of uncertainty when he visited the hospital after Messiah's birth, saying he thought to himself that the baby couldn't be his.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Did you finally, after you talked to yourself and you went back and forth, did you finally go up there?
Your Honor, yeah, after I got myself together, I went up there. I hold the baby, I was looking at it. Then I looked at her, looking at the baby, looked at her, and I said, no, this ain't my baby. That's how I felt.
He stared at him for a minute, then he kissed him. He held him for a minute, maybe like 10 minutes, then he put him back down.
Ms. Gully says Mr. Boykin initially seemed interested in being a father, but denied it after her hospital stay. She claims he hasn't attempted to be involved in Messiah's life since the birth. The discussion then shifts to the possibility of a DNA test. Mr. Boykin states he wanted to take a test to confirm paternity, but Ms. Gully claims she returned the test and used the money for baby supplies.
And I mean, you have to understand, Mr. Boykin. I mean, Miss Gully had just had the baby. How's she going half on a DNA test and all of that, and she's still trying to heal and deal with the baby? Why wouldn't you just say, I want this result? I'm gonna pay for this test as long as you agree to just test the baby.
I was trying to do that, Your Honor.
Finally, the case ends with the judge emphasizing the need to find out the truth about Messiah's paternity. Both parents express strong feelings about the situation, and the court plans to address the DNA results to determine whether Mr. Boykin is indeed Messiah's father. The outcome will be crucial in clarifying their roles and responsibilities concerning the child.
Nothing but what she told me.
What did she tell you?
It's a possibility it might be his, and a possibility it might be yours. That's exactly what she told me.
And when did she tell you this? At what point in this process, in this timeline, did she tell you that?
After she had the baby, Your Honor.
After the baby was born?
No, ma'am.
We ain't start talking until you had the baby. I did not talk to you until you had the baby.
Right.
Okay, well, so tell the truth.
Did you ever tell him, Ms. Gully, that it could possibly be his baby or someone else's?
Like I told him, I strongly believe he's the father. I was messing around with this other guy. No, I don't believe he's the father.
Your Honor, shit not sure. That's unbalanced. How you gonna say you believe? Tell me I am or not.
Well, I know you're the father. He looks just like him.
Baby don't look like me.
And you submitted some pictures to the court that you say prove that Mr. Boykin is Messiah's biological father. This is a picture of beautiful baby Messiah.
You see the resemblance.
And you believe this picture.
This case was absolutely nuts. Ms. Lapine opens the case by expressing her shock. For 30 years, she believed Mr. Lapine was her father, until a family dinner conversation raised doubts. She reveals she's here today to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Mr. Lapine explains that he's faced jail time over unpaid child support and could be sent back if he is confirmed as her biological father, which makes this hearing critical for both of them.
Ms. Lapine, you say for the past 30 years, you'd always believed the defendant, Mr. Lapine, was your dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then just months ago at a family dinner, you were told by a family member that he's not your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Still in shock, you state you're here today to finally discover the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lapine, you say you've spent years in jail for unpaid child support and your life has been turned upside down.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tomorrow you have yet another court date.
Yes, Your Honor.
To thicken the plot, the judge asks Ms. Lapine to recount the moment she heard Mr. Lapine might not be her father. She describes how the family was talking about their parents when someone hinted that she didn't resemble her father. Confused, she approached another family member, but they dismissed her concerns. Later, she called Mr. Lapine, who admitted that another man was around during that time, raising his own doubts.
So hold on. They gave you a name?
Gave me a name.
Of the man that was your father?
Yes.
Wow. Mr. Lapine.
Yes, ma'am.
For 30 years, all this time, you believe this young girl was your daughter?
Yes, ma'am. And I've been 4 to 5 years in jail, and it gets rough.
4 to 5 years in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
For unpaid child support.
Yes, ma'am.
For a young woman that calls you and then says, some family member told me you may not even be my biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You actually have a court date tomorrow.
1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
A clearly traumatized Mr. Lapine, who thought Ms. Lapine was his daughter all along, reflects on the toll of spending years in jail over child support payments. He reveals that he's scheduled for another court hearing the following day, which could lead to further imprisonment. The judge inquires if he's been in trouble for anything other than child support, to which Mr. Lapine responds that it's the only reason he's ever been jailed.
So after you learned her mother was pregnant, you went on and married and signed the birth certificate and you stepped up to be the father.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you remember her mother being intimate with anybody else during that time?
I didn't know then. After me and her separated, I was told by friends of mine that they had slept with her and other people.
Wow. So as you look at...
Risking an answer. She may not be ready for emotionally. Ms. Lapine questions if her father ever doubted her paternity over the years. He explains that he trusted her mother initially, only to learn later from friends that she might have been unfaithful. He confesses he had always wondered if Ms. Lapine looked like him, noting that she bears no resemblance to him or his other daughter.
What are you holding in your hand?
This is a picture we took last week of me, my dad, and my sister.
And you feel like you strongly resemble your father.
Right.
But Brandy does not.
Right.
When you look at this picture, Brandy, what do you feel?
I always thought that I just got my mother's side of the genes. I always thought,
The judge invites Ms. Lepine's sister, Jennifer, to testify. Jennifer shares that although she believed Ms. Lepine was her sister, family members had made jokes about paternity in the past. She explains how this doubt has affected not just her and Ms. Lepine, but also their entire family, who grew up believing one reality only to have it questioned. This situation was clearly taking its toll on everyone concerned.
You and her mother broke up.
I come home, she come into where I was sitting and told me, I want you to move out.
And how old was Miss Lepine then? How old was your daughter?
3. I just packed my stuff and left. Now I wish I'd never left.
Jennifer holds up a recent family photo, pointing out the striking resemblance between herself and their father, a resemblance that Ms. Lepine lacks. Ms. Lepine reflects on how she always believed she inherited her father's attitude, even if she looked more like her mother. The judge notes the significant financial and emotional impact on Mr. Lepine, who has paid child support over the years and even been jailed, questioning how this uncertainty affects him. It clearly has been tough.
And when they take my child support out, I only get $600 a month after that. That's it.
So they're taking for your arrears.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Brandy, I have to ask you, what have the last couple of months been like struggling with this information?
Mr. Lepine submits evidence showing his long history of child support payments, including records dating back to 1998. He describes the challenges of maintaining a job while being repeatedly jailed over unpaid support, explaining the cycle of losing jobs and getting behind on payments. The judge emphasizes how high the stakes are, with another court date looming that could lead to more jail time if today's result isn't in his favor.
Because after 10 years, I missed out of you guys' life. Like I said, that was my mistake.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to say before we go to the results?
In a way, I'm jealous of them because my dad raised them, but he didn't raise me. He wasn't there for me, but he was there for them.
In the case of Lepine versus Lepine, when it comes to Jennifer Lepine, Mr. Richard Lepine, you are her father.
Sometimes cheaters get called out on paternity court.
How do you keep an 8-year affair a secret?
I mean, like...
Go ahead and talk to him, because I can see you.
I'm sorry.
I understand, Felicia.
I am so sorry that I did this to you.
I feel like my kids don't deserve this. My daughter don't. She's only 10 days old. My family's on the line. I'm sorry, it's emotional.
Mr. Robinson thought he was happily married to Miss Fuller for 12 years. But then one unfortunate day, she broke some terrible news to him, that he was not the only man in her life. That's why, ding ding, paternity doubt.
I take him to the birthday party. Later on, after the party is over, I drop him off at his grandmother's, where I thought Miss Fuller would be. Well, when she didn't come down, that was fine. It was okay. So another day passed. I'm calling all day the next, no answer. Maybe a day or so, I'm starting to get these phone calls, but they're private.
During their financial struggles, Miss Fuller's thoughts were consumed by the man with whom she had slept. Finally, guilt took such a toll on Mommy that she went MIA for the entire week.
You kept the whole relationship a secret, hence the private number. And all the while, Mr. Robinson, you're bonding with this baby is named after you.
Oh, yeah.
It's your son.
Sleeping on my chest at night. I mean, I barely move. I mean, you know, like I would sleep like this. Real quiet, real move, real
I know
still.
that move.
Wow, that was brutal of you, Miss Fuller. No way to treat your man. Poor Mr. Robinson was stuck in some really bad business until Brandon Jr. came along and helped him out of the strains of possibly being cheated on. But now it was time to dig up some dirt.
Well, actually, I sat down on the couch at first, so I handed her the phone. I was like, read this. So she reading it, got a little look on her face or whatever. And I got up after that, and I went to the washer, and I started taking clothes out the washer and out the dryer and all of that stuff. But I'm like, leave Brandon, because you got to work tomorrow anyway, and it was my day to keep him anyway.
After hearing Mr. Robinson's story, Judge Lauren asks Miss Fuller the details of the affair. When she admits she had an on and off again thing with the guy for 8 years, the entire audience boos at her. What kind of married woman does this behind her husband's back?
I wasn't supposed to have kids.
What do you have there?
A calendar.
A calendar. You presented here indicates In 2004, you meet the other potential father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And during the time of conception, you were with this other guy as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Robinson, I can tell by the look on your face you did not know this.
When Mr. Robinson finds out his wife was with the other guy during the time of conception, it's like someone ripped his heart out. He's super confused about his child's paternity, and the entire audience has one thing on its mind. How did Miss Fuller keep such a long affair a secret?
If he is his biological father, does he want to be a part of Brandon Jr.'s life?
I wouldn't want him to be a part of his life because he's not like the type of guy that you just want to raise your kid or, you know.
It's just the kind you just want to go to his house every time you get in an argument with your boyfriend.
At the time, yes.
Looks like Miss Fuller's mistake will cost her a good man as well as her son, because the other guy doesn't want to raise this kid. And now Miss Fuller's gonna reap what she's sown. One thing's clear, Mr. Robinson's not going to get back with Miss Fuller. How does that make her feel?
I'm gonna come back, be with you. I won't be there like
but
that.
That's not why I broke up with you.
But I will
Why
always
did you break
be there.
up?
Yeah, I would love.
I did it for myself. I did it because I need to learn how to love myself more instead of trying to build a relationship with somebody and I'm not loving myself. I'm loving you more than I'm loving me. Like, that's not right. I need to build myself up. So that's why I broke up with him.
As the case moves forward, Mr. Robinson withdraws his petition to have the baby's name changed. He did that out of anger, and now he's realizing he's better than that. Well, it's time to open up the results and see whose baby this beautiful boy is.
Mr. Brandon Robinson Sr., you are his father. Well, I don't even have to ask you how you feel.
Oh, man. This the best day ever. You know how you always say, best day ever, so.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are fighting over the paternity of their daughter. Mr. Johnson is 100% certain that his wife cheated on him, and now he wants his name removed from the birth certificate. But Miss Johnson has other things in mind.
I feel like my kids don't deserve this. My daughter don't. She's only 10 days old. Finding numbers in his phone, finding pictures. Like, I find it for that moment, he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, but then he'd go right back to doing it. I left.
A lot of it was like business. She was,
that's what
like, I'm an artist. I deal with a lot of women.
But it don't have to be, oh, you're beautiful.
Upon hearing Miss Johnson's excuses, Mr. Johnson says he's just trying to protect himself. They've had a rocky relationship, and he spent a lot of time on the streets with other women. He was the one who started this cycle of infidelity.
We always had a rocky relationship. 10 years, separated numerous times, mostly because of me. I was always in the streets. This was like a normal thing for me. Being in the streets, being gone, dealing with other women. It was always, I never really cared the way I should, After we lost our child, I just didn't take heed to it.
After the separation, Mrs. Johnson had to go through a whole pregnancy alone. But fate had other plans because she ended up getting a miscarriage. At that time, it was Mr. Johnson who came through for her. They tried getting back together, but things turned bad again.
She never addressed me enough to make me feel like a man. I feel like I was
addressing too many other women. So
why should
I be there?
Don't say you didn't feel like a man, because I always say, if you a man, you feel like a man. A woman can't make you feel or not make you feel like a man. A man is a man.
So once they reunited again, Mrs. Johnson realized she hadn't been completely honest with her husband. She decided to confess to him how she thinks the baby might be another man's because she had sex with both of them during the window of conception.
In the beginning, it was like, I'll be there, but like if she's mine, I'll be there. But then after she was born, I asked him to come to paternity court. He said, I must have doubt or I must feel like it's his, and I was doing like it was ridiculous for him to come.
When did you two reconnect? Can you tell me specifically when that was?
On June 20th.
All right.
Mrs. Johnson even informed the other guy about the paternity, but even though he promised he'd be there, he ended up bailing out. After Judge Lauren does some calculating herself, she thinks that this case needs paternity testing to settle matters for the best.
I found that there was sufficient evidence to order both of you to submit to DNA testing at our laboratory since our last hearing. What has gone through your mind?
No matter what the outcome is, I just want to be able to deal with it.
How about you, Miss Johnson?
Well, I've been nervous. Kind of scared.
Before announcing the results, the judge has to make sure Mr. and Mrs. Johnson will be able to handle the news properly. After all, they don't know what's going to hit them. They've had a miscarriage before, so they must know how to deal with this. After setting them up with a marriage counselor, Judge Lauren finally opens up the results.
Mr. Johnson, you are the father.
That's great news. Absolutely.
So happy.
Wow.
My nerves were shot, honey. I was like, woo! I'm so happy for you all.
Mr. Jameson has been with Miss Smith enough to know she's never changing her cheating lifestyle. Her actions made him doubt whether Malachi and Michael are his children, and no matter how much Miss Smith tries to save this family, he's backing off.
How long after that did she kick you out?
I say probably like a month. She kicked me out.
And did you want to go back with your ex, Miss Smith?
I did, but then I ended up back with him. I told him I didn't want to go to my exes. I was done with it, and I went
Because she knew what
right
was
back
right for
with
her,
him.
Your Honor.
So you asked him to come back on home?
Yeah.
Who were you with before you asked him to come back?
2 dudes, Your Honor.
But when Mr. Jameson moved in again, he caught her texting multiple men. She was telling them she was using Mr. Jameson and she never loved him. Of course, Mr. Jameson ended up confronting her and leaving her. The moment he left, she had sex with a guy from her neighbors.
He told me yes. When she kicked me out, she had sex with him too. And there's another guy.
A third guy?
Yeah, there's a third guy.
Who told you this?
I found it in the phone. The
Ooh,
phone
you can't
tells
stay
it.
out that phone,
Nah,
can you?
I couldn't. And the saddest thing was I really wasn't trying to say things because I'm going snooping for things. So I can't really be too mad, but I'm mad.
Miss Smith has zero shame regarding her behavior, and that's got the audience jeering at her. Even Judge Lauren is concerned because Miss Smith isn't denying any of the cheating accusations. Yet, she's still insisting that both kids belong to Mr. Jameson. How can that be possible?
Both of my kids, which I know he is the father, he don't want to man up.
It's not about manning up. I've been
It is
there.
about
I've been
manning
there for
up.
kids, you know what I'm saying?
That means financially, physically, all that, Benjamin.
I've been there too. I bought diapers, bought clothes,
How many
toys.
times? How many
it's not
times?
about how many times. I do it when they need it.
So, Miss Smith, what happened to the relationship after Malachi was born?
We break up, get back together.
Mr. Jameson wants answers. For 4 years, they were together, and he caught her texting sexual stuff to other people. But then she lies straight to the judge and says that those were just texts. She never really committed to doing anything physical. After that, she ended up pregnant.
Well, I got pregnant around the end of August, early September with Michael. Around October, mid-October, early October, I did start seeing someone else. I didn't get my menstrual cycle. So I went to the doctors and they told me, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, so soon I tell guy I was dating, because I thought it was his.
So you told the other guy first,
yeah,
I'm pregnant and this is your baby.
Yeah.
The judge is concerned whether Mr. Jameson is involved in the lives of the kids, and he says he tries as much as he can. He buys them diapers and brings them toys whenever he can. But he does regret signing the birth certificate because he can't fully commit unless he knows they're his flesh and blood.
These papers right here, if they're not mine, I got the applications for the change name right here.
Because you don't want them to have your last name.
She gave Michael my name in the hospital. I didn't even give her permission to do that.
I feel like deep down, he knows they're both his. He knows. Benjamin, you know this. Yes, you do.
So we won't be here today if I knew.
Now, I'm to prove to you also.
Miss Smith has no right to act all high and mighty when it's her fault that her relationship with Mr. Jameson is so damaged. Judge Lauren scolds her in front of the whole courtroom, but instead of learning a thing or two, she starts blaming Mr. Jameson again.
When I found out how far along our pregnant was, I came straight to Ben and I told him, I said, this is your baby. 3 months, but when I found out I was pregnant 3 months ago, I didn't know that guy.
There's probably guys I don't even know about. But the thing is, I still loved her. And it's like, I didn't want to fully leave her, but
Because you do love her.
Right.
In the end, the kids don't need to have parents constantly arguing with each other. It's bad vibes. And if these two want their children to grow up feeling safe, they'll have to work on this relationship. And that's what the judge tells them before she asks Jerome for the envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jameson, you are the father.
I'm relieved. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Judge Lauren has never seen a case like this before. Mr. Nicholas has brought his wife into court because he doesn't trust her at all. In fact, he's doubting he even fathered 4-year-old Naomi and 1-year-old Nathaniel. Mr. Nicholas even has evidence against Mrs. Nicholas.
The sushi spot I used to work at, it's a hot stuff. People come in. Some guy comes up to me and tells me straight up to my face that my wife is performing oral sex in the bathroom.
Oh, wait a minute. You're at work at the sushi restaurant.
Yes, ma'am.
And a guy just comes up to you
and tells me that she's performing oral sex in the bathroom.
Mr. Nicholas starts the story with his favorite sushi place, where a waiter one day told him how Mrs. Nicholas was giving oral sex to strangers in the washroom. Because he was working, he couldn't get proof. But then more people started approaching him with similar stories.
And so I had to watch him. And then after the show was done, some lady comes up, tells me straight to my face that my wife was having sex in the ride.
Having sex in the ride? First of all, why would I have sex while my daughter was in the ride with me? And the chair moves. Come on, I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, let me get my point straight. Then why did my 7-year-old daughter come tell me straight to my face that you're jumping up and down some dude's lap?
Once Mrs. Nicholas got caught by her daughter, it was the end for Mr. Nicholas. But he still gave it a chance. He thought she would change her ways, until she got caught having an affair with one of Mr. Nicholas's co-workers at a restaurant. But why would Mrs. Nicholas cheat?
How did you find out that she had slept with the coworker that got the diaper?
She told me she left her panties there.
I did not leave panties there.
What?
No.
No, you told me you left your panties there.
Oh my
Would
God.
you know the panties were missing? I'm not understanding.
No, she told me
you just
I left my panties there.
I never said that. Excuse me.
With Mr. Nicholas opening up Mrs. Nicholas's secrets, she ends up feeling frustrated. She gets back at him by saying he was emotionally cheating on her with another woman. He would go to her and tell this other lady all their relationship problems. So she went and cheated on Mr. Nicholas with his look-alike.
I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I told you a wrong letter when you were out of business. Come on now.
Please tell the court why.
Why did you do that? Yeah, tell me.
Why? I'm sorry. It just looked like you.
Oh.
I mess with him, but it just looked like I was thinking about you most of the time. Come on now.
They ended up fighting about whether the kids look like Mr. Nicholas or not. He says there's zero resemblance between them. Judge Lauren asks Mrs. Nicholas why she can't stop cheating, and she says it's because she's tired of the way Mr. Nicholas treats her.
The last time was his business trip. I mean, I said wrote a letter and told you the truth. Excuse me.
How many times?
How many times?
How many times have you had sex?
How many times? Less than 10 different guys.
While we're still married. While we're still married.
But some of them, I don't sleep with them. Yeah, I kiss them. Is that cheating? Kissing is cheating?
Mrs. Nicholas openly admits that she keeps some men for sleeping with, and some she just kisses when she's bored. The audience gasps, and even Judge Lauren can't believe the audacity of this woman. Because of her behavior, Mr. Nicholas is now sleeping at another woman's place.
Sounds like to me that both of you are accusing the other one of doing a lot of things, but the problem is that both of you are doing the other thing. I'm looking at Mr. Nicholas right now, and I see a man that's standing here emotional still over his wife, so I see love.
The problem here isn't just the paternity. Of course, those two kids need to know who their real father is, but can Mr. and Mrs. Nicholas make this marriage work? Even though they've hurt each other, they still love each other a lot. Can the results give them the answers they want?
Mr. Nicholas, you are his father.
Exactly! I told you from the beginning.
How do you feel, Mr. Nicholas?
Relieved. Really relieved.
Time's DNA test proves the impossible on paternity court.
Mr. Wynn, you are not the father.
Still love him regardless. I'll continue to love him even though he's not mine. He's mine in my heart, and I'll always be there for him.
Mr. Runnels, you are her father.
Yes.
Oh my God. That really is his baby.
Great.
It's a miracle baby.
Yes, she is.
Miracles do happen around us in our lives. Listen to this man who was told that due to a medical condition, he'll never father a child. However, it was proven wrong with the birth of his beautiful daughter. Newsflash, 22 weeks later, Mommy confessed infidelity.
Mr. Runnels, you claim a lifelong medical condition led you to believe you would never be a father. That was until the birth of your daughter, Ireland, who you claim is your miracle baby. But now the defendant says you are not the father. You are here to prove that miracles really do happen. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff shared the same hopelessness of being fatherless, but the defendant expressed her feelings, saying she wanted him to be the dad, but doubted it because of his medical condition. Then Mr. Runnels described his complications.
You say you want that miracle too.
Yes.
But you just don't believe.
No, I don't.
This is the case.
All it is it's where the hole in the penis is in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Instead of being up top, it's more towards the bottom of the head. The doctor just said that it's a big possibility that I may never be able to have kids if the surgeries don't take. None of them's worked. It's all closed back up and the original hole opened back up.
Talking about the relationship, the defendant said they were together for 4 years and had tried to conceive, but nothing happened. Then she changed her gaze and cheated on Mr. Runnels. But interestingly, The plaintiff had a different story.
When you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell? The other guy you were pregnant, or did you tell Mr. Ronald?
I told them both, actually. I told the other guy on Facebook that I might be pregnant. It could be his baby. And I told him too.
But did you tell Mr. Ronalds you cheated?
No, ma'am.
No, I did not. He found out physically on my Facebook.
I had to hack her Facebook and find out by myself. The very first message that popped up was her telling the other dude that it might be his, or it's more than positive his kid.
If it wasn't working out, then she should have left in the first place. The judge asked him about the pregnancy, and he told that he knew it when she was pregnant and helped her throughout the whole period. Then, the plaintiff revealed another unsettling act of the defendant.
Are you there when baby Ireland is born?
Yes, Your Honor, I was at the hospital. The other guy was not by our choice, but I requested to have a DNA test done at the hospital. But I left for 10 minutes to go outside, get some fresh air or whatever, and I came back up, talked to Miss Taylor to see if she had talked to the doctors about getting one done, and she said no.
The judge asked the plaintiff about the importance of today's paternity, and he replied that he hadn't really given a lot of attention to his inability, but still hoped to become a father one day. Upon being questioned about his feelings for the baby, he expressed his confusion.
Why is it so important to you to establish that you were also the biological father?
I've never fully gotten into my medical disorder. I've never fully looked into it. I've never made myself 100% aware of exactly what was going on. In my heart, knowing for so long that I've never had a kid. I've been trying to have a kid since I've been 18 years old.
This man is stuck between hope and horror. We hope that it turns out well for him. Then the defendant added she believed that the baby resembled the other guy more than the plaintiff. So the judge also asked about the other guy's thoughts regarding the baby.
He don't even want nothing to do with her.
He goes back and forth, Your Honor. I'm not even gonna lie.
What was your relationship like with this other guy?
Well, we only known each other for almost a year. And then he came over one night, we hung out, and it led into more than that. A week later, I took a pregnancy test. They both came up positive. And I told him not to get his hopes up on the first one because I didn't want to have him go thinking, oh yeah, I'm having a baby, and then I go to the hospital.
Miss Taylor's story seemed very honest in the court, but the plaintiff said her hangout plan was different from what she told him. This was the second time he was getting new information. Then, Mr. Ruddle shared his version of the story.
Before we get into that, that's kind of funny how Miss Taylor says that he came over, because her whole story to me was she met him out at the park and they went out to the woods
We met at the park and we had went back to my house.
But yeah, you just said he came over to the house.
So you're getting new information today?
Yes, ma'am. I was told that it happened outside of my house, in a park, somewhere outside.
This case is leading into the pits of confusion. So the defendant explained that she was intimate with the other guy a week before she found out about the pregnancy, but wasn't sure whether she was already pregnant a month ago or not. She also expressed her feelings regarding the baby's future.
Me and the other guy had an intercourse on the 26th of December, 2015. And when we did that, a week later, January 1st, on my mom's birthday, as a matter of fact, I found out that I was pregnant. I want her to have the best future she can have. I don't want my daughter to have no father. I want the best for her. I want her to have an outstanding childhood. I want her to go to college, graduate, everything.
Her fears are real, but the outcome of this situation doesn't feel good. Let's hope for the best. All of the testimony still painted a picture of doubt, so the judge asked a doctor to explain the plaintiff's medical condition in detail.
So hypospadias, and I brought, is an opening of the urethra in the incorrect position. On a normal penis, the tip of the penis is where the urethra comes out. In our patient's case, his is a little bit lower. So hypospadias can come in all sorts of varieties. And usually with surgery, it's completely corrected.
So the doctor gave some hope to the plaintiff. But still, the possibility of his paternity is at fault. The only way to figure out the father of the baby is through the DNA results.
In the case of Runnels versus Taylor, when it comes to 8-month-old Ireland Taylor Runnels, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Runnels, you are her father.
Yes.
Oh my God. It really is his baby.
Great.
It's a miracle baby.
Yes, she is.
It is not everyone's cup of tea to take care of their families properly, and some partners could become the reason for its downfall. Take this case, for instance. A disturbed mother brought her ex-husband to prove the paternity of her son, but the defendant accused her of pinning his name on their son.
Miss Tant, you are disgusted that you had to drag your ex-husband to court to prove he fathered your son, Daniel. You are here to put an end to this question that has torn your family apart for more than 2 decades. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wynn, you say that after your wife's reckless affair and lies, she became pregnant and tried to pass Daniel off as your son.
Yes.
The defendant started the testimony by saying that they were very young when they got married, but after their first daughter, things went bad. The wifey was getting flirty with his hairdresser friend. He also shared how he caught them cheating together.
I met this gentleman that I went to school with and decided to introduce him to my wife as a friend of mine. And next thing I know, he's coming over, messing with her hair, supposedly a hairdresser, giving her all the comforts that I should be giving her.
Ooh, that's a classic case of cheating. Flirting with your husband's friend and sleeping in his pal's apartment? But it doesn't end there. The poor partner had another dirty story to share about his wife. Listen to this, and it has far more flavor than the previous one.
We went camping one weekend. So we get to our campsite, we camp. He ends up in our tent that night instead of his tent. And Your Honor, as we sleep in the tent, there's
excuse me,
her,
we only have
there's
one
her,
tent.
There's him, and there's me in the middle to divide them. Because this is my wife. I want to sleep next to my wife, not another man. I wake up the next morning, I'm against the side, and she's in the middle between us.
You must have a strong nerve to do that, especially in a tent. The judge asked Mr. Wynn about any other doubts, and he blatantly said she continued sleeping with that guy. Seems like all these stories were not enough, so he finally told the moment he caught her cheating.
So I come home early and same thing. Found that she was not in our apartment. Went over to his apartment and knocked on the door, didn't get an answer. Made a statement that, I was gonna kick the door in if they didn't open the door, because I knew she was in that apartment. And when she did open the door, she was dressed in nothing but a sheet wrapped around her. No clothing.
Well, the mommy got herself cleaned for one story at least. The judge asked her about the pregnancy, and she said she found out 3 weeks after her affair, but told the defendant about their son after 2 years.
So, Miss Tant, how soon after this night with the sheet did you find out you were pregnant?
I was 3 weeks pregnant when I found out 6 weeks later.
So, Mr. Wynn, when did you find out about the pregnancy?
Not till after the boy was 2 years old. She contacts me and tells me, we have a son. I'm gonna try to get back together and make a family out of it.
The judge asked him about the responsibilities, and Mr. Wynn said he moved back with her just to take care of their son, but was left hurt when he found out that the baby boy doesn't carry his name, and explained the sketchy act of the plaintiff.
Did you raise him as your son?
Yes, ma'am, I did raise him as my son. I took him under my wing. I made sure he had what he needed as he was growing up in life.
And that upsets you. You feel robbed of
raising my child, my family to carry on. My name stops with me.
Why tell a man that he's your son when you changed the baby's surname? Then the plaintiff admitted that she did it to own the baby. Also, she agreed that her one-time sleepover might be the cause of uncertainty. The judge further asked the son about the conversation of doubt around him.
Daniel, your mother has admitted that she has doubt. Has she ever explained to you that there was doubt, or did she always tell you that for certain this was your biological father?
She's never said that she had any doubts. He's the one that's always said he has doubts.
But now as you stand here today and you hear your mother say that there is a doubt.
Don't know how to feel about that, Your Honor.
Whatever they said today didn't matter as much as the pain of a 3-year-old kid who had to go through questioning his paternity all his life. Today's results were more important for him to keep him at peace, so the judge called for the results.
Mr. Wynn, you are not the father.
Still love him regardless. I'll continue to love him even though he's not mine. He's mine in my heart, and I'll always be there for him.
When your baby's paternity is in question and his father has passed away, carrying him all by yourself can be difficult. Sounds difficult, right? Well, that's exactly what happened in this case. But the twist is that the defendant calls Miss Crow's efforts greedy for money. To settle things right, we need a DNA test.
Ms. Reinhardt, you state that Ms. Crow is a liar and a manipulator, and that the child in question is not your deceased son's baby. You say Ms. Crow used your son for money when he was alive, and now it's trying to claim him as her son's father only to get death benefits.
The plaintiff replied to the judge that it wasn't about money. She just wanted her son to know his father's family. She also said that she had kept her defendant's son and the baby in touch before his death. Next, the judge asked Ms. Reinhardt about the doubts.
It is more than just the money. My son cannot grow up and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father is and to know who his family is.
And so, Ms. Reinhardt, you don't believe
in the time period when she told me she was pregnant, it didn't happen that way. There's no way she could have been just 2 weeks pregnant and had her stomach firm as she did.
The plaintiff told them about the relationship and how things took a quick start, but also shared that she never slept with anyone else during that time, and he never denied the baby. But the defendant didn't buy that and cut off to argue with her.
Can you talk to me about the relationship?
When I first met Jay, we were at a skate park. I noticed him in the parking lot and I called him over to me and we had a conversation. He did ask me to be his girlfriend and we did have unprotected sex as well. I did not sleep with anybody else in that time when I was with him.
He'd have believed you if you told him the sky was purple.
After this, the plaintiff took the same road and explained some more resembling genes of the baby to the alleged father. But we all know that resemblances are sometimes deceptive. Can't count on them. Then the defendant shared the pregnancy test story claim.
Just right there, you can see it, like his hair, that is Jay. There are things about him that are a lot like me.
I asked her if she took a pregnancy test, Your Honor. She told me no. I said, you didn't take a pregnancy test. How do you know you're pregnant? I know my body.
Well,
I know
first
what it
of all,
feels
your
like.
hormone levels
Feel
have
my...
to build up to even pass a pregnancy test.
Ooh, did you just learn this?
So the gene game is going very strong here, but it's not a total surety. About the birth, the plaintiff said that he was present there and was very excited about the baby. But after 3 months, both of them moved on. But the defendant sparked another curiosity about the baby's father.
Did JC accept the baby as his own?
He told everybody he's really happy, he's excited. He never denied my child. He had me take pictures on his phone. And after that, we went our separate ways and, other things happened. But I was trying to take care of my family. And, I lost my father the same year my son lost his father.
Both sides are going very strong here. The judge asked the plaintiff about his death, and she said they were in different states, and she found it out through a Facebook post. She further told the story, which offended the defendant.
How soon after Thomas was born did JC pass away?
The same week he turned 1. It was almost a year.
For 9 months, he never saw the baby?
He was in Henderson. I was in Vegas. I didn't have a phone number. He didn't have no way to contact me. I didn't even know he was still here until I'm scrolling down my newsfeed on Facebook and I see a mutual friend of ours post, "Rest in peace, Jay," with his picture.
To clear the cloud of confusion, the judge asked the plaintiff about her intentions to prove the DNA of the baby after his death. I mean, yeah, why do you remember all this now? Why didn't you do it earlier? Well, this question sparked curiosity in the court and also gave the defendant a chance to bring down Miss Crow.
I didn't even know when the baby was born because I wasn't contacted.
Jay knew.
Jay knew? He's
knew.
Supposedly the alleged father, not...
It don't have to be alleged because we're going to find out today.
So,
You're gonna
listen.
see for yourself.
I can let my scab build back up.
Because it's all about
I'm
you,
the
right?
one that took...
It's about my son. It don't matter about
I'm
you
the one
or
that
me.
took
It's
care of
about my
Jason.
son. My son deserves better. That's what he's going to get.
Both mother and grandmother were at great odds, and even the testimonies couldn't solve their problems. The poor baby whose paternity was stuck in this denial would suffer the most here. And to give him justice, the judge was ready to read the results.
In the case of Crow versus Reinhardt, when it comes to 2-year-old Thomas Crow, it has been determined by this court the percentage of relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow is 99.6% you are related.
Delete them pictures off Facebook. Take my kids off Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you because when I found out about my brothers and you denied my brothers to me. Well, then why did you say I don't have the money right now? Can you just wait? I could have waited. I already waited a year before my van got fixed and it's broke down again. Can you help me now?
Livingstone's ex-husband insists that he is the father of her child, but she has other thoughts. She thinks the kid belongs to another man. But Mr. Livingstone isn't just going to accept that. He is going to fight for his kid. Here is how that story starts out.
Ms. Livingston, you've petitioned this court for a DNA test on your 21-month-old daughter, Jordan, to prove to your now ex-husband, Mr. Livingston, that he is not Jordan's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, come on, Ms. Livingstone. We know that isn't a good reason to believe that this man is your kid's father. The fact that she has blonde hair does not and cannot automatically mean that she belongs to Mr. Livingstone, right? Let us hear from Mr. Livingstone.
So, Mr. Livingston, you say today that this is your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why are you so sure?
Because I was there through all of it. I was there through the doctor's appointments. I was there through the birth. Everything about that kid looks...
Well, that sounds admirable, but that also cannot be the sole reason you think a child is yours, right? There has to be something more than that. But hold on, because this case is about to get crazy.
So when did the doubt begin to set in, and when were you informed about...
He knew before that there's a possibility because I was messaging Mr. Dorschlag on Facebook, and he told me that he thought that he was the father, but even if he wasn't, that I should leave Mr. Livingston and be with him.
Oh, so Mr. Livingstone is kind of right. Mrs. Livingstone was talking to a man she wanted to leave him for, and that might just be the reason she thinks the baby doesn't belong to him. That would be neat, wouldn't it? That the man she wants to leave her husband for just happens to be her child's actual father. But wait, it gets naughtier.
I never once at that time told him that I was going to move to Tennessee with him.
There were several times throughout this whole time that she was planning on creating a relationship with him.
So Mr. Livingstone doesn't even think there is a paternity question here. He just thinks this is an extension of a divorce drama. Okay then, Mr. Livingstone, the only problem is things are never quite what they seem in paternity court. But what even caused this divorce?
We were sitting on my couch, we were watching a movie at my mom and dad's house, and I hear a knock on the door. Well, it's a cop. He's coming to bring me the divorce papers, and then when he leaves, shortly after that, I get a phone call from my ex-wife over here.
Mr. Livingston, you naughty dog. From a family member? Okay, that is enough reason to get divorced. But Mr. Livingston doesn't think so. Why is Mrs. Livingston so mad about this request for nudes when she slept with another man while she was dating her future husband?
I didn't start messaging Mr. Dorschlag about us getting back together or anything until after I filed for divorce.
That is not true. These messages have happened while she was pregnant with Jordan before she gave birth.
Ooh, tough. Can you imagine your potential wife talking like this about another man? No wonder Mr. Livingstone thinks this is all about her getting back to Mr. Dorschlag. He has no doubt at all that the baby is his. Well, let us hear what Mr. Dorschlag has to say.
Child's biological father?
Your Honor, in a way, I do believe it because of the eye color and the hair color of the kid. I have sat down and looked at my previous baby pictures and baby pictures of Jordan, and I have came to the conclusion that because of the hair color and the eye color...
Well, that is some venom. You can say what you like about this case, but it is pretty obvious that Mrs. Livingstone does not like Mr. Livingstone at all. She completely hates him, but Judge Lake finds a way to get the truth out of her.
So what you're saying ultimately is you just hope he's the father.
Yes, that is
you
exactly
don't
how I feel.
believe beyond a doubt that he is.
Excuse me,
No,
Your Honor.
there is doubt.
Wow, this is interesting. Many other women would kill to have a baby daddy who is as present in their lives as Mr. Livingstone is, but Mrs. Livingstone doesn't care at all. Well, it is time to see what the DNA test result has to say about that.
It has been determined by this court. Her biological father is Mr. Livingston.
Like I said, I didn't know for sure. I just wanted to know for sure.
Mr. Jordan really hopes that this kid isn't his because he has another kid on the way. But Ms. Ramirez says that doesn't matter to her, and that she is 1,001,000% sure that Mr. Jordan is her baby daddy. Here is how the case starts.
Mr. Jordan, you claim to have evidence to prove that you were nowhere near the plaintiff during the time of conception, and therefore you cannot be Mila's biological father.
Okay, wait a minute. Why does Mr. Jordan look like a cartoon villain or some evil, wicked mob leader from Power Rangers or something? You may think that this man is avoiding responsibility, but that is not what he thinks at all.
I'm just here to prove that Mila's not my baby. She's a liar, like pathological liar. And we have 2 other babies together, and I've taken care of Levi and Adrian. Like, I've stepped up, I've changed their diapers. Like, Adrian was here for 7 months, I took care of him.
Oh, I think I was a bit too harsh on Mr. Jordan. He changed their diapers. That totally means he's a sensible and respectable young father, even if he has not seen his kid in over 2 years. If he says he will be there, he will be there. You might just have to wait a year or more. But wait, there are more details.
So you were already living in another state and had moved on.
Yep.
Which is why you say you are not Mila's biological father. Ms. Ramirez, if Mr. Jordan was living in a completely different state. You've testified he didn't have any money to come back.
Okay, wait, what? Ms. Ramirez just testified that she was broken up with this man and that he was a less than great father to her kids, but she still wanted another child with him? Like, does she not have any self-preservation instincts? Like, none at all. What is going on here?
I just want to say also, when I broke up with her, I had found like sex messages with other dudes. That was like when I decided to, just cut it all off.
The calendar, according to Ms. Ramirez, says that she had slept with Mr. Jordan without protection for the entire week, and she says that was the week she got pregnant. So it is an open and shut case, right? Well, wrong, because Mr. Jordan has proof that this did not happen.
Because I have proof right here that I was in Georgia. I got a pay stub. If I could submit this from.
Yes, I'd like.
And there it is. That is the complication we all know paternity court for. But it gets even more interesting because Mr. Jordan here can basically not run out of proof that this kid is his. Here is another one from him.
Your Honor, there's no way, and on top of that, she said that she had actually slept with someone before and she thought she was pregnant by another guy when she was talking on the phone. So.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I never said that.
What did she tell you, Mr. Jordan?
She told me that she thinks that she was pregnant with some guy, like she just happened to tell me.
Hold on, wait a minute. This is veering very dangerously into crazy territory. So Mr. Jordan slept with his former babysitter, and now she is pregnant. And now she says that Ms. Ramirez told her, in confidence, that Mr. Jordan isn't her kid's father?
She asked us to stay with the boys and that she's gonna take Mila to go see her dad. She didn't say, oh, this might be the dad. She said, I'm going to take Mila to see her dad. He's gonna give me money for her, and that he wants to see Mila.
No, she has not. In fact, she only said that the father of the baby has to be Mr. Jordan, and now we are learning that she was taking the child to see the other possibility? This is insane. What? And it gets worse.
It's like a 95 to 5% possibility.
What math are you doing in here?
Ms. Ramirez, you are going to have to come clean because Mr. Jordan has shown a picture she took with the baby and the other guy, and you can clearly see they are going for a family portrait. And now she is saying the other guy knows he might be the baby's father.
He knows he's a possibility. That's what I've told him. He's only a possibility.
So, Ms. Ramirez, tell the truth, because do I even need to go to this envelope? I mean, you talking in circles so much I'm getting dizzy. What is the truth?
The truth
This looks like a man holding his baby.
You know what? You seem really mad about it, Ms. Ramirez. You seem super mad about it. And the only way we are ever going to get to the end of this paternity issue is through the DNA test. And here is what that test says.
Mr. Jordan, you are the father. I don't know the results, but I saw that one coming through like a Mack truck.
You're right. She was going to be upset if she found out that she was yours.
Ms. Williams thinks Mr. Glover is her son's biological father. She also says that the boy has a major surgery coming up and she needs to be sure Mr. Glover is his father before the surgery. But here is the kicker. Mr. Glover's brother may also be the child's father. Here is how it starts out.
Mr. Glover, you claim you are not Ricardo's father and have proof that his biological father is your brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Williams, tell us why you had to open your case.
Oh, so this question is important for the boy's medical history, so this isn't just about whether or not Mr. Glover is the father. The answer to this question is very important for medical reasons, but things are not so straightforward.
Began, I kind of had doubts that he was my son anyway, and I've been trying to get it situated. It ain't like I just ran off or anything, but...
How long has it been since you've seen Ricardo?
It's been about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't know that the right thing to do when you cannot get a DNA test done for a kid that might be yours is to move to Texas? But Mr. Glover has a good reason. He thinks that Ms. Williams is avoiding the test because she knows he isn't really the boy's father.
Felt like she was avoiding it, then that's why the 5 or 6 years passed, you left it alone because you felt like, I'm really not the father.
Yes, ma'am. I moved to a whole nother state after the last time of us not doing the DNA test.
Oh, a virgin? That is a rare sight in paternity court. But if Ms. Williams says she was a virgin before she met this man and there was no one after him, wouldn't that be enough proof that the baby is indeed his? Well, that isn't what Mr. Glover thinks.
Like, we wasn't around each other all the time.
I was in school.
Both of us was young. And, like, we wasn't around each other all the time.
So you didn't feel like it was necessarily exclusive?
No.
So
wait, did we hear that correctly? So Mrs. Glover says she caught Ms. Williams giving another man head while she was supposed to be dating her son. son. Now, that does not sound like something a faithful person would do, but it also gets worse.
Why didn't you just have him drop you off right here? It's no problem. She said, I got off the bus.
Oh, so you're saying you saw her with this person before she was pregnant and then after she had the baby?
Powerful testimony. Mrs. Daniel seems like she knows exactly what she is talking about. But that isn't the only bombshell she is about to drop on us. She has something even more incredible to say.
Like, he denied it from the jump. Like, his main thing was, nah, bro, I ain't never messed around with her, but I did see her stuff one time, but I ain't never.
The text messages show Mr. Glover's brother talking to Mr. Glover about how the kid looks exactly like him. And Mr. Glover replied that he could be straight with and tell him the facts. But hold on a minute. Are we not forgetting something here? Mr. Glover is related to his brother, and they have lots of similar genes. So why is it so surprising that his baby looks like his brother? But more details on that.
You claim you never had an intimate relationship with Mr. Glover's brother.
No, but my baby looks like him.
Why?
Genes. Genetically, that's the both of them are
They
your
don't
sons.
even have the same father.
It does not matter.
They don't even have the same father.
They have the same mother.
Ms. Daniel is very clear about what she's seen, and Ms. Williams is very clear that old Ms. Daniel here might be a tiny little bit blind. She insists that Mr. Glover is the only person she has ever slept with, and the DNA test will vindicate her. But let us see what Ms. Williams thinks about this baby looks like my elder brother business.
Oh, he signed it uncle. All right, so you're saying this is him acknowledging I'm not the father.
Exactly.
I am the uncle.
Yes.
All right, well, let me scan through this letter real quick and see what else he's talking about.
Please do.
But that isn't Ms. Williams' only evidence. In fact, today she brought a letter from Mr. Glover's brother to show that he never actually slept with her. And here is what that letter reads. Let Judge Lake read it out.
And I just want to say I'm sorry, but like, it could have been handled, and like I said, I apologize though.
You need to apologize to him too. He'll understand it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Mr. Glover? Are you okay?
I just wanted him to know this is his child, and I asked for help because I just need it.
Oh, I see where it is coming from now. Mr. Glover can't imagine his brother isn't as equally deadbeat as him, so he thinks he has to be the father. You know what? That makes sense. Now let us see what the DNA test has to say.
Mr. Glover, you are the father.
That's all. What's up? Like, what's up?
That's your handsome boy.
Mr. Anderson had an affair with Ms. Lima and now claims that the child from that affair does not belong to him. Now, Mr. Anderson has been married to his wife for 10 years, and he agrees that he messed up by cheating, but he says the child cannot be his. Here is how it starts out.
Anderson, you say your whole life is on the line, and your marriage, and you're hoping you're not father today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mrs. Anderson, the woman Mr. Anderson cheated on, is in court today, and she also has a great deal to say. And why wouldn't she? This affair may just break up her home. Remember, before Mrs. Anderson texted Ms. Lima, she did not know that Mr. Anderson was even married. And what does Mr. Anderson have to say for himself?
I'm just sorry, Your Honor. I just want to say I'm sorry to my wife and my family and my kids.
I believe you are sorry.
Your Honor, it was a big mistake. And, you know, I really want my marriage and I want my marriage to work. But
and
it
I
started...
see your wife next to you and I feel her pain.
And that is when the lies start popping out. Mr. Anderson says it was just one night and nothing ever happened after that night. He also says he told Ms. Lima that he has a wife and kids, and he couldn't possibly be her child's father. Like that has ever stopped baby making.
It was a one-night stand.
You never saw her again?
Never saw her again.
Ms. Lima?
That's wrong, Your Honor. That's wrong.
How often would you see Mr. Anderson?
We've seen each other for 2 years, every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, so you were lying when you told the court that this happened only once, while it happened at least 50 times? Mr. Anderson may want to play this off as a one-time thing that happened because he got into an argument with his wife, but that is clearly a horrible lie. But he also has some theories about why Ms. Lima is doing this.
She's just looking for some money.
That's
She's looking for a cash out.
That's not the case at all.
Well, if she's looking for a cash out, you gave her the directions because you led her right to your treasure.
Wow, this is insane. You can clearly see how mad Mrs. Anderson is getting about this entire situation. She cannot believe everything she is hearing, and she is no doubt hearing some of these details for the first time because, as we have seen, Mr. Anderson cannot tell the truth to save his own life. And it gets worse.
So when she was 4 months pregnant, you didn't meet up with her? Mr. Anderson, just tell the truth now. Just tell the truth.
This is one crazy man. He slept with her even when she was pregnant and is now acting like this baby could never belong to him? Really? Did he really do that? It appears so. But let us hear from Mrs. Anderson now. What does she have to say?
Your marriage is on the line because
My
of
marriage
this.
is past on the line. I can't. And then he's sitting up here. First he said it's one time, now it's numerous of times. You understand? I knew it when she told me what was in my house, that it was numerous of times. And he kept lying.
Mrs. Anderson has a right to be mad at both of these people. They have basically ruined her life, and now she may have to start all over again. She may have to divorce her husband, and that may lead to horrible conditions for her kids. It seems she has already made that decision.
Has told us she was also in a sexual relationship with you during the time she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Anderson. So you could possibly be this child's father. Are you clear on that?
Yes. This sucks so bad for Mrs. Anderson, but for this case, the only way is through. There is still another man outside who could be the father of this baby, and he is about to step in court right now and tell his part of the story.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Anderson is the father of 1-year-old Christina, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not her father.
So while Mr. Anderson was cheating on his wife with Ms. Lima was also cheating on him with another man. Well, they say what goes around comes around. Let us get to the bottom of this case at last. Who is the father of this baby?
Plaintiffs lie, defendants lie, DNA does not lie. When I read the result, I could see the relief you felt. I felt the relief as well, but it wasn't for you.
3 different adults with 2 different mothers have brought the same defendant to court today, and they are all alleging the same thing, that Mr. Medley SNR is their father. The 3 kids, Mr. Heron, Mr. Medley JNR, and Ms. Johnson all say that Mr. Medley SNR is their father, and that he will stop denying them today. Here is how it starts out.
Ms. Johnson, you grew up without a father for 26 years and claimed that when you finally found the defendant, he claimed he didn't know you existed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Really? 2 different women on 3 different occasions decided to commit paternity fraud against you? Are you like the patron saint of paternity fraud or something? But it is all cool, guys. Mr. Medley Senar says he had very good reasons to doubt all 3. Let us listen.
Mr. Medley Sr., you submitted a whole list of doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
When I met her when I was playing in a band, which was about maybe 3 blocks from where she lived. She would come, she would be there, you know. I'm like, why do I want to start trouble? I'm a drummer. I'm not here to start trouble. He said, well, she has been with him, but he didn't know that she was married.
Well, that is a lot of hearsay from Mr. Medley Senar, but it also could be true. But his 2 kids? No. They are not going with that at all. They have a lot to say, and Mr. Medley SNR doesn't seem like he has a lot to reply.
So much to hear this man sit here in this courtroom and lie to you like that. Look at me. Do I not look like you? Honestly. Spitting image, 100%. And you gonna sit up here and say that I'm not your son?
I don't know.
How you not know, man? You looking at yourself right here.
Not the way I see it.
Yup, they shut him right up. Even if you are not sure the kids are yours, you should probably get that sorted before they grow old. That's the only responsible way to deal with paternity doubts, not hiding in a hole somewhere. But he says he had his reasons for not doing that.
And in the 80s, we did not have DNA. We had blood tests. I tried to get blood tests. The grandmother kept saying, it's painful, they've been through enough. She would not allow me to do it. But now, it's just a swab of the mouth, so there's no pain in that.
Oh well, what a case. But remember, Mr. Medley and Mr. Henry aren't the only ones saying that Mr. Medley is their father. There is also Ms. Johnson, who is from another mother, and her story is just as shocking as the rest.
Ms. Johnson, in your statement to the court, you indicated you grew up not knowing who your father truly was?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
I grew up in and out of foster care.
That must have sucked. Ms. Johnson says her mom told her never to contact Mr. Medley, but when she was 26, she finally found him. And what did he say to her? What did he say when a woman who could be his daughter reached out to him?
Well, first I told him my mom's name, and I asked him, did he know her? He said yes. But when I told him that he was my dad, he was like, oh, really? Oh, my daughter, can you please send me your number, and I'll give you a call.
Phew. So what is Mr. Medley trying to do here? Did he just start denying her recently? Or did he always deny her but just never let her know? Who knows with this dude? But he should have some answers for us, right? Let us find out.
We didn't get into this DNA test until on Mother's Day. When I had over from Mother's Day, she kept talking about, I need a DNA test.
No.
Well, this is what happened. She was having problems with her van. And I had said that I would help her because at my job, they was going to give us a retro pay.
Well, the bottom point seems to be that Mr. Medley also has paternity doubts about Ms. Johnson, but they are probably not as strong as the ones he has about Mr. Heron and Mr. Medley Jr. Anyway, the only way to solve this impasse is by checking out the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court, you are the father. It has been determined by this court that you are the father.
Phew, what a shock. Mr. Medley was 100% convinced those boys did not belong to him, and now he has found out they are his father. Now, he doesn't have so many doubts about his daughter, which means she is probably his daughter, right? Let us see.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.
Mr. Zara is in paternity for the second time. The first time he was found to not be the father of the defendant's son, and that devastated him. But he is back to confirm if he is indeed the father of her 8-month-old daughter as well. This is just crazy. Miss Nadeau here has tried to pass off Mr. Zara's friend's kid as his kid before, but now she is claiming that was only a one-time thing and she would surely never try to do the same thing a second time. Here's the question. Why would anyone believe her? Let us learn the complete anyone Ms. Nadeau hasn't slept with. She says this only happened before she conceived her 2-year-old, who has been discovered to not be Mr. Zara's daughter. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he? This woman got pregnant by his friend. He would obviously believe anything about her. She has done the worst possible thing to him.
And that's Miss Nadeau?
Yes.
You know what? It is super rich that this is coming from Ms. Nadeau. The last time she was in this court, she was embarrassed by the DNA test result. There was no eyewitness that saw her sleeping with the father of her baby that time, so it is kind of ironic that she is asking for one now. Let us hear from another witness that Ms. Nadeau was messing with 2 other men while she was with Mr. Zara. That is crazy. And the fact that Ms. Nadeau can sit in court and deny it all, that is just something. But it gets worse.
Back here, the window of conception would have been around March 6th. Was around then, so let me see.
There's no snow on the ground in March in Rhode Island.
This is crazy. No way this is happening right now. So Ms. Nadeau could really have cheated on this man twice with his friends to birth 2 different babies? Somebody wake me up. This cannot be true. Something else is going on. This is definitely one of the craziest cases ever, but we still have to get to the bottom of it. Mr. Zara petitioned the court for a lie detector test, and the test has been done. Well, at least we know we are just down to 2 men. It is time to find out if Miss Nadeau has been telling the truth all along, or there is something else she is hiding from all of us. The answer to this might just break your mind.
It has been determined by this court that her father is Mr. Zara.
Not even listed under that, but there was somebody else's name under that same file as mine. So that's 2 people now, and that's 2 people other than me. So that's 3 people total that I know she's been with. So, I mean, you tell me do the math.
What?
You do the math.
What are you talking about?
So, like, we were having sex around the end of November, beginning of December of 2015.
This is a shady situation from the beginning.
You said it's shady.
It's a shady.
Oh, who's shady?
I never had a conception date.
This is a shady
Your Honor,
situation.
never had.
Okay, hold on. Wait, just wait.
44-year-old Mr. Lewis believes 61-year-old Mr. McAllister is his biological father, but Mr. McAllister believed otherwise, and he's convinced Mr. Lewis's mother may have muddled things up when she told Mr. Lewis whatever story she told him.
Mr. Lewis, you say you've always known the defendant is is your father and say his paternity denials are mere excuses as to why he was not there for you. You hope today's results put an end to this 44-year-old mystery. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. McAllister, you claim
These two full-grown men are in Judge Lake Paternity Court to find out if Mr. McAllister truly fathered Mr. Lewis 44 years ago, or Mr. McAllister's opinion about knowing who really fathered Mr. Lewis is right.
How has Mr. McAllister's denial affected you?
Well, growing up in South Central Los Angeles, it was tough not having a father there. Knowing that you have one, just different things that went on through my life that, not having a man there to answer different questions,
Mr. Lewis explained politely how not having his father accept him as a son did a number in his life, as it was quite tough to roll with that. But Mr. Lewis' future turned out better than most kids in his situation did. Man is a college football coach. Way to go, Mr. Lewis. But we still need to know if Mr. McAllister is his real daddy.
Mr. McAllister, do you hear Mr. Lewis's testimony?
Yes, I do.
It was very difficult growing up knowing he had a dad, but that he was nowhere to be found.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that? Were you doubtful all of these years?
Yes, ma'am. And the reason why I was doubtful is because I heard maybe 3 or 4 different versions of...
3 to 4 different versions? Whew. That can put doubts in anyone's mind, to be honest. But a DNA test would have sufficed and cleared your doubts, Mr. McAllister.
Mr. McAllister, can you tell the court what was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Lewis's mother?
Me and Miss Lewis, we attended the same high school together, and I knew her as a casual friend. However, the young lady that I was dating at the time, we either had our differences or whatever, and somehow me and Mrs. Lewis...
Oh, wow. It was a one-time thing, and Mr. Lewis's mother supposedly kept the result of it. It seems Mr. Lewis's mother already had a crush on Mr. McAllister, and then laying today was her greatest joy, and she couldn't let it go. She had to keep the baby as a souvenir. Sorry, Mr. Lewis.
So what did you hear about the relationship, Mr. Lewis?
Well, with my mom, it was, because the type of woman she was, she didn't want to allow the turmoil from that, a fear, interfere with my life. But as a woman, we had to move on.
What did she say specifically?
She let me know who he was as a father. She had a picture of him.
Was this always just got this picture and you had the name? Did you ever say, I want to look for him? Where is he?
I was roughly probably a junior in high school, so I had a lot of things going on.
Okay, Mr. Lewis's mother told him about his father in high school, but it's rare to think a high school kid would want to go looking for his long-lost father. He already had enough school situations to deal with. Only a few high schoolers would be willing to add daddy issues to the list.
Kind of, moving on with my life.
So she gave you the picture of him when you were in high school?
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. McAllister, all of this time, Mr. Lewis says it wasn't until high school that he even got a picture of you from his mother. All this time, you never knew you potentially had a son?
No, ma'am. I traveled to Los Angeles back in '81, and I ran into a relative of the family.
Oops. Mrs. Lewis dug a really deep hole for her son, seeing as she told Mr. Lewis's potential father that the son's real father was dead. Only Mrs. Lewis understood her reason for lying like that to her baby's supposed biological father. Or was she not sure at that moment who the real father was? Again, only Mrs. Lewis can answer the question.
I also heard that it could have been my first cousin, Michael. Unfortunately, I don't know. I also heard that, as I said, that a family member told me there was someone from the location, the city that I stayed in, and then I also heard from the mom that he died. So those are 4 different versions. The young lady that I was dating back during this time, she was the first one that brought it to my attention because she knew me very well. She knew I'm an accountable man. She knew what my morals were. I used to look down on men that would not be supportive to their son. And for me to...
Cousin? Oh, there were really a number of versions for real, and that could mess with anyone. But then again, Mr. McAllister was hearing all of these from the person he was dating. What if she was lying so no one would threaten her life in her man's life? You never know. However, Mrs. Lewis also made it hard to understand, so this is a little bit confusing altogether.
I'm sure there was opportunities that she let him know. That's why when she told him, and I'm not sure if she did say that, but I can see my mother, if she did say he was dead, it was to protect me because we had already moved. Things were, you know what I'm saying? When he didn't show up and do what he was supposed to do, and she knew that, she had to move forward. Single mother.
Would let the father know. She's never told me that she was pregnant by me. She's never told me that I was his father. To today, when I finally found out about that there was a possibility here, my thing is, again, before I leave here, within myself.
Mr. Lewis says his mother told Mr. McAllister that lie to protect him. Okay, if you say so, Mr. Lewis. Mr. McAllister then says Mrs. Lewis never reached out to him, and that was his first reason for being negligent about the baby 44 years ago. Anyway, just like Mr. McAllister highlighted, we need to know the truth too.
When it comes to 44-year-old Jermaine Lewis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. McAllister, you are the father.
Mr. Nelson isn't ready to accept or take responsibility for a baby he believes isn't his, since he knows, and Hardin wasn't loyal to him during the baby's window of conception. On the other hand, Ms. Hardin claims Mr. Nelson is the biological father of her 2-month-old daughter.
Ms. Hardin, you have opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say, due to a misunderstanding, he is now denying your 2-month-old daughter, Sophia Nelson. You are certain he is the father, and once proven, you want his help raising your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, you refuse to lift a finger for a child that isn't yours. You say you are one.
Mr. Nelson claims he even knows the real biological father of baby Sophia, as he's 1,000% sure it was not his sperm that fertilized Mr. Hardin's egg that resulted in the baby. But Ms. Hardin says that's not true, and what she wants is his help after he confirms paternity of the child.
Delonte doesn't help me with anything. He doesn't help me financially. He won't pick up a diaper. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I go to the store. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I get in the shower. He walk past her like she Casper. When she cry, he'd be like, hey, get your daughter crying. Your daughter wants you. Get her, get her.
So Mr. Nelson wasn't joking about not considering the baby to be his. Man won't even help his supposed baby mama care for the little child. Yeah, it's understandable if Mr. Nelson doesn't want to accept the baby because he has his doubts, but caring for 15 minutes for a little baby won't hurt anyone.
I don't see why I should have to do all of that if I'm not 100% sure that I'm the father.
My baby looks just like you. You denying her, she look just like you. Y'all cheeks, y'all face structure, your forehead, your eyes.
Like you.
No, she don't look like me.
And there it is. Mr. Nelson doesn't believe in caring for the baby in any way solely because he believes the baby isn't his. Okay, Mr. Nelson, but why are you still cohabiting with the baby's mother when you have this much doubt about the baby and her mama? Not being around is better than being around and acting up.
I look like my mom.
Mr. Nelson, you are basically saying that Ms. Hardin's testimony is correct. I really want to understand the nature of your relationship, how you all met.
I met her when I went down to Louisiana with my family. I thought she was cool. She wanted to move with me to Arkansas.
Wait a minute, how did we get there?
Right. No, that is not how it went.
Yes, it is.
So how did it happen, Ms. Hardin?
When he came down to visit with his family members, we became friends first, and then when it was time for him to go back to Louisiana with his family, he asked me, do you want to come with me or do you want to stay?
How long was he there?
Oh, it's a tough one. Ms. Hardin went away based on the infamous line, "You can come if you want to." Ms. Hardin, it's most likely a man doesn't want you around if he says that to you.
With this young man, and you didn't think he was the kid type. And why are you following behind him?
I didn't really have anybody. My mom died when I was 12. My dad's not in my life. My grandmother, she's not really there either.
You say it?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were feeling alone in the world?
Yes. Yeah, and I never really had nobody in my life talk to me. You know, nobody, they would like talk, but they wouldn't listen to where I was coming from. They didn't listen to what I had to say, and he was there for me, and I gravitated towards it.
So you wanted to have his baby because this was a person now that I decided.
Felt like I was going to be with him for the rest of my life.
Right.
That was quite emotional. Sorry about the rough experience, Ms. Hardin. But we are here for baby Sophia, so she wouldn't go through the same thing. Ms. Hardin thought Neemter Nelson would be the one who wouldn't leave her life and hurt her. But that's not enough reason to have a baby for a man who doesn't want to be a father, though.
So take me to the birth.
He was semi there, I call it.
At least I was there.
But that don't count. That don't count.
A lot of dudes wouldn't even be there.
He watched her be pushed out. He waited for my daughter to be weighed and wiped off, and he told me, that's a white man's baby, and walked out of the hospital room.
What?
Because she came out like really like.
That's how she came out.
She didn't look like that.
She been in the womb.
Come on, I'm black though. A black baby go come out with some type of blackness on them.
Leaving the ID at home on purpose isn't the same thing as not signing the birth certificate because the baby looked white, Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson already had it in mind. He wasn't going to sign the birth certificate either. The baby came out black or white.
Okay, Your Honor. It all started. We went back to Arkansas, got our own place together. Around that time, her ex-boyfriend, John, and his baby mother, which is Rachel, at the time, didn't have nowhere to go. So they wanted to come stay with us. But that being her ex-boyfriend, I thought it was disrespectful. I said no. She still went along with it anyway. And I found that suspicious because if that was your ex and y'all had relations, why would you want to be under the same roof as him with me? So I got mad and I left during that time.
But if he was with his new wife or girlfriend or fiance, why would it matter if they needed a place to stay for a moment?
Because before I even knew her, all three of them had sexual relations with each other. So everything was cool. I thought, everything's fine. I wasn't, suspecting none because I had no proof until I went through her phone and I found text messages of John texting her, hey, baby.
Boyfriend John is really Sophia's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You were intimate with this couple.
Yes, I do.
And you admit you were intimate with them when Mr. Nelson left the house.
No.
Wait a minute. Did Mr. Nelson just say Ms. Harden was involved in the three-way sexual activity? Mr. Nelson has the right to have doubt. And what's with the text message? Oh, Ms. Harden did some nasty work before the birth of baby Sophia. So Ms. Harden's ex is another potential father to Sophia.
Do admit that you were intimate with this couple.
Yes, I do.
And you admit you were intimate with them when Mr. Nelson left the house.
No.
John Patterson.
Do you think you're Sophia's father? That's what I want to know.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah, now you don't.
So why
are you denying?
Are they testifying that you were on the phone saying, what are we going to do about our baby? You know that's my baby.
I never said that. They're both delusional.
You never claimed this child.
No, actually, I got text messages and screenshots.
Okay, so Ms. Harden admits she did what Mr. Nelson was talking about. Cool, but she doesn't admit to the remaining allegations. However, the ex that has been causing a stir is here, and he says both Mr. Nelson and Ms. Harden are delusional about thinking the baby might belong to him. This twist can only be settled with the DNA test result.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Patterson or Mr. Nelson is the father of 2-month-old Sophia Nelson. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Nelson. You are the biological father.
N.S. Hawthorne wants to prove to that deadbeat father, Mr. Brown, who used to be her lover, is the father of her baby. But Mr. Brown is also claiming Ms. Hawthorne knows for sure that he is not the real father of her child.
You are here today because you say your high school sweetheart, Mr. Brown, is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Hawthorne is a desperate liar who will say and do anything in order to have a family with you. You claim there is no way you could have fathered her child, and you intend to prove that today. Is that correct?
Oh, it's a high school sweetheart kind of case, but Ms. Hawthorne claims Mr. Brown is a smooth talker who could easily sweep us all off our feet. However, Mr. Brown says Ms. Hawthorne is just a liar who would say anything to make a family with him. Okay, but you did sleep with each other. Both the smooth talker and the liar fall in the same category.
Thorne, why do you say Mr. Brown is a deadbeat?
He doesn't do anything for Chase. He doesn't come see him, anything.
And that makes you so angry?
Yes.
Because you feel like he's not honoring his responsibility?
Right. And plus, I grew up without a father. So I don't want my kid.
Sorry about that, Ms. Hawthorne. Nobody deserves to grow up without a father, but Mr. Brown doesn't believe he's Chase's father, and that's probably his reason for not being around for him. We need to hear the other side of the story anyway.
Often says you acting like a deadbeat. Why?
Your Honor, this baby isn't mine. I desperately believe that she's emotionally attached to me and she desperately wants to have a family with me.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating.
Emotional attachment, you say, Mr. Brown. You laid with that woman. You should have considered that may be part of the results you'd get from that, aside from potentially having a baby together. And Mr. Brown was cheating? Okay.
Well, Your Honor, we was living in two different parts of the city. So she was living in the suburbs. At the first beginning of the relationship.
What does that have to do with cheating?
Yeah, that's true.
This doesn't even make any sense now. So
Yes.
you went to high school together?
No, we were separate. He's in Chicago and I'm in the suburbs.
Oh, there was an online dating situation before graduating to getting laid, and a baby coming in between. Okay. Ms. Hawthorne seems like she's using the last shred of energy in her to talk about this, but Mr. Brown, he's here for the laughs.
We only had sex one time, and that was in 2014 in August.
Nah.
That only one time. We wasn't going back and forth. I wanted to continue to move on.
So
Mr. Brown says they had sexual intercourse just once. So who's going to tell Mr. Brown it just takes about 30 seconds to make a baby as long as the male and the female parties are fertile? The one time doesn't even have to be up to a minute, Mr. Brown. But then again, we can't judge yet since we don't know the father of the baby.
And so therefore you can't be Chase's biological father.
Correct, because before I came to her, I had sex with my girlfriend.
So
What? Okay.
you had sex with your girlfriend before you came to see Miss Hawthorne?
Correct, Your Honor.
This doesn't make any kind of sense.
And I missed my period in January. So, like, we were having sex around the end of November, beginning of December of 2015.
This is a shady situation from the beginning.
Now, Mr. Brown says he didn't get to finish this activity, meaning he didn't get to the part which could lead to the baby being formed, but Ms. Hawthorne says that's not what happened. So what happened?
Your Honor, she had a boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
I did not. Me and this guy, we were roommates. We decided in
Your Honor.
June of 2015 to move in together.
Is this a guy you've been intimate with ever?
No, never at all. He was just a friend.
So you're gonna move in with someone and not have sex with them?
Yes.
A male being is not
Yes.
gonna try anything with you.
No,
to have sex.
not if he's just a friend. Not if we've never had that type of relationship.
But how would he feel about that?
A male roommate? Just a friend? That's almost impossible, Ms. Hawthorne. If he's homosexual, maybe it's applicable, but if it's the other way around, it only takes the grace of God for that to just be a plain friendship in the same room.
And you say Mr. Brown hasn't been a part of his life at all?
Not at all. He's only seen him 4 times.
Your Honor, I feel trapped in the situation.
How?
I feel trapped.
How do you feel trapped?
Because first off, you didn't let me know that you was pregnant until 14 weeks later.
Okay, so you trapped yourself in the backseat of the car when you really should have come and broke up with her, but instead you decide to have sex with her because you sitting around here. No, really.
Mr. Brown feels trapped in the situation as he thinks Ms. Hawthorne is just trying so hard to drag him into what he isn't interested in. However, we really need to know who the owner of the baby is, Mr. Brown or the roommate who was a plain friend.
Versus Brown. When it comes to 2-year-old Chase Hawthorne, it has been determined by this court. Brown, you are not the father.
Mr. Lillard wants to know if he truly fathered 20-year-old Delvin Holt, but Ms. Holt claims there's no need for him to even doubt paternity because it's as clear as day that the child belongs to him.
Mr. Lillard, you say you were forced to open this case after receiving a message last year from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son, Delvin Holt. Ms. Holt, you say you have unsuccessfully tried for 20 years to get Mr. Lillard to accept responsibility for your son, Delvin, and today is the day he is finally going to accept.
So Ms. Holt decided to finally put a call through to Mr. Lillard just a year before coming to paternity court. And that's the reason Mr. Lillard is here. Ms. Holt wants her 20-year-old Sim to know who his father is without a doubt.
Me and Miss Holt met back in 1997, summer school, high school. She'd go out to eat with my mom. I take her take out to eat. I was in love with her. I cared about her. You know, I experienced a lot of things with Miss Holt. She was the first for a lot of experience. And
your first for a lot of experiences?
A lot of experience.
A lot. Dro said a lot.
A lot of experience.
Seem very experienced
Some
to
I
me.
can't even say, but you know.
Which one does Mr. Lillard want us to believe? Mr. Lillard says Ms. Holt was his first in many activities as they were in love, but she's not the one he lost his virginity to. Maybe Ms. Holt whispering on the side that Mr. Lillard seemed experienced wasn't lying after all.
She's the first woman I went downtown on.
Oh my, okay.
First woman experienced a lot of
that's
things.
too much information.
But
Really.
I'm just saying, I had a lot of admiration for her. But she was also my first heartbreak, first person I really experienced what pain was. So, you know, and you know, it's not been no back and forth fighting over the years. It's just been a very cordial thing. But she made some mistakes that cost everybody a lot of pain right now, me and him.
That little poor boy doesn't need to be hearing what his potential father and his mother were doing while they were in high school. That's too much information for real, as Ms. Holt stated. And first heartbreak? That could be accepted since everyone knows how rough that could be.
We was in a good relationship. We really didn't have any problems. I love Darius. He know that. We did some things that we shouldn't have been doing at the time, and with those actions, we have Delvin now. So.
Actions you shouldn't have been doing at that time? These two are acting like they were wild as hell back in high school. Going on about all of these in front that boy just makes it weird anyway. Let's skip to a different part, please.
When Ms. Holt was testifying, what happened? Where did things go wrong?
Things were wrong when I caught her cheating.
What happened?
Well, on this very sunny, bright day, Miss Holt just decided not to be at school. Wasn't in none of her classes. We usually meet up in class, hallways, whatever. She wasn't there. So, you know, hey, me being me, I know something's going wrong. So I tell you what, let me skip school myself. I left school, walked 2 miles to her family's home, knocked on their door, no answer.
Caught her cheating? Y'all see these two are just treading 20-year-old Delvin. These two grown adults could have just come to the court alone and leave the boy out of this. But a point to be noted, Ms. Holt cheated, but Ms. Holt says Mr. Lillard's explanation of the situation was no good. Over to you now, Ms. Holt.
Yeah.
Who was in the house with you?
That was just a friend. Just a friend. We was not in there for no 4 hours. Matter of fact, it was like 10, 15 minutes.
I left second period. That's early in the morning. I left second period. Second period is early in the morning.
No, it was not.
So you got third period, fourth period, lunchtime, fifth period, and sixth period.
You was not even out there that long. I know you wasn't, because I wasn't even in the house that long.
So...
You was too busy. You wouldn't know.
You don't know. I wasn't busy doing nothing.
She wouldn't know.
So, Ms. Holt, why did you finally open the door?
Oh, because we was getting ready to leave out. It was time for a family member to come home, so I knew that I had to leave.
Ms. Holt's explanation doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Ms. Holt claimed she opened the door because a family member was coming home, but she knew her supposed boyfriend had been at the door knocking, and to top it all off, she wouldn't open it when she and the other dude were just friends and doing nothing. Make it make sense a little bit, Ms. Holt.
You cannot deny and say that.
So you're saying that shortly after this encounter at the house where she wouldn't open the door, she says, I'm pregnant.
There you go.
You remember the day she told you?
Honestly, no, I tried to block out my mind after that. I was hurt. Like I said, that was my first time ever.
Oh, so you had the puppy love heartbreak over that.
It's my first time ever experiencing that. Got my mind. It was a wrap.
Mad crazy.
I blocked out my mind, and I ain't never forgave her for it.
Darius was not present during any point of my pregnancy. He was not present any point of him being born.
Why exactly would you expect a man that's not only heartbroken but also saw you with another man to be present at the hospital in Holt? That man seemed to have lost his mind after that heartbreak.
Delvin, what do you know about Mr. Lillard? There's a lot of conversation about what was going on before you were born. What do you know about him?
Your Honor, my mom has always told me he was my father, and I just basically came here to let him know I don't need a father, but I just really want to come to find out if he is so I can have closure, me and my mama.
Delvin says he doesn't need a father since he's a grown man himself, but he needs closure to get on with his life. Delvin needs closure, but we need the result. So let's skip to that and know if Delvin's mama is the culprit once again.
Mr. Lillard, you are not the father.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for...
Mr. Jones would rather do community service than allow Ms. Turner put him through the hoops of being her baby daddy, but Ms. Turner claims he's the biological father of her 5-month-old son, and she's going to prove that in paternity court.
Mr. Jones, you state you have always believed you are not the father of the defendant's 5-month-old son, Amir. You claim your suspicions were confirmed after receiving a text message just 3 weeks ago. Is that correct?
Ms. Turner just wants Mr. Jones to step up and sign the birth certificate of her baby, but Mr. Jones would do anything other than let his signature touch the legal paper that makes him the father of the baby. He's not sure to be for him.
Why are today's results so important to you?
I'll be wanting to claim the baby, but at the same time, I got so many doubts. A lot of doubt.
And I can see this is troubling for you. You are emotional about the fact that you really...
Okay, Mr. Jones is not a wicked person. Mr. Jones says he's been wanting to claim the baby, but his doubts won't just give him the chance to do that, and hence, the reason he needs to know the result of this DNA test in paternity court today. So what exactly is causing Mr. Jones's doubts?
Like you said, just 3 weeks ago, I received this text message.
What text message is that?
It's from message from Facebook, from somebody I don't even know.
Jerome, let me see that evidence. You say just 3 weeks ago.
Yes, Your Honor.
You get this message.
Yes, Your Honor.
And this message says, why you claiming that baby?
Oopsie, that was pretty detailed. So bad it was from an anonymous person. That would make anyone think twice and not want to be a fool, as the anonymous person had stated.
That day when you got this text message.
I woke up in the middle of the night, seen I had a missed message. I see that message on there, and I instantly got up and called her. Like, who is this? I asked her, do she know the person? She said no. I looked up
It comes from a number you don't even know. Miss Turner, do you remember that night when you got that call from Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Turner says it's a little hater. Little hater? Oh, if that's a hater, that's a big hater, Ms. Turner. Not a little one. Picking 12:59 a.m. to send that kind of text don't make anyone a little hater. That person was definitely out to get Ms. Turner if indeed Mr. Jones is her baby daddy.
Who's the hater that would write that?
Female friends that don't like him being with me, so it could be one of them. It don't have to be a man. They could have stole somebody's profile.
So you think, because it came from a man.
Yes, Your
But you didn't know who it was.
Never seen that guy a day in my life.
Never
a
seen
man
before
told me
either.
that.
That's not how things work, Mr. Jones. Assuming and concluding that must be someone Ms. Turner used to sleep with just makes Ms. Turner's point about haters sound better than yours.
And mainly, this is why I got doubt.
All right, so take me back to that time, because that's pretty much the time that's at issue.
Take it to a neighbor's yard. He had texted her one day when I went to work, like 6 in the morning, right after I left for work, trying to come over.
Trying to come over?
Yeah.
Come over for what?
Even Ms. Turner couldn't believe that she was crying, but that's how Mr. Jones' narration goes. So Mr. Jones wants Judge Lake to see that Ms. Turner has been up to no good in terms of their relationship in the past. Okay, sir.
Receiving text messages from other men during the window of time when Amir was conceived?
No, my neighbor had text messaged me and was like, hey sis, most of my friends that I'm cool with, if I'm cool with their boyfriend or whatever, I do call, that if they like a brotherly figure to me, I call them bro. They call me sis.
To be fair, why would you be calling anyone you're sleeping with bro or sis? It doesn't make any sense, like Ms. Turner pointed out. Also, Ms. Turner says it was 4 a.m. as Mr. Jones claimed. It was a 7 a.m. text instead.
Tell him when I'm going to the store, when I'm going to the bathroom, when I'm fixing something to eat. So he know everywhere I go. He know everything I do.
So, but it has to be more than just text messages.
Yes.
You believe she was actually sleeping with her ex?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Why do you believe that?
Ms. Turner believes Mr. Jones was cheating, and she too didn't have a choice. Mr. Jones believes the 5-month-old baby belongs to Ms. Turner's ex. Mr. Jones strongly thinks there may have been other dudes Ms. Turner was kicking it with, and Ms. Turner even knows for a fact that Mr. Jones have been having fun outside the house. Now we need to find out who exactly is telling the truth and the opposite.
Mr. Jones, you are the father.
Thank you. Okay. You feel better?
That don't mean all that.
It do.
It just mean the baby mine.
Well, listen.
Mr. Jones and his mother are in Judge Lake's court to prove he's not the biological father of Miss Milan's son. But Miss Milan wants Mr. Jones to be his baby daddy, even though she's not sure if he is the biological father of her son or not.
Mr. Jones, you and your mother are co-plaintiffs who have brought the defendant, Ms. Milan, to court to prove her 3-month-old son, Quanil Jr., is not your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you took Ms. Milan and her other 6 kids into your home, and now she's trying to take you for a ride by claiming and child care expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Milan, though you do admit to cheating on Mr. Jones with another man, you say
Mr. Jones and his mother took Ms. Milan in with 6 kids, and she still got the time and nerve to cheat? Holy Mary, Mother of Jesus. How does that kind of mistake even happen? Because it's very predictable that Milan would call this a mistake. Anyway, Mr. Jones and his mother also want $1,500 if things go their way in court today. So let's get to it.
Why do you feel Quanil Jr. is not your son's child?
Well, Your Honor, I contacted the court 3 days after the baby was born because I watched my son break down at the hospital. You know, he was going to be devastated if this child wasn't his. It doesn't make sense to not know.
Her mother and my mother was neighbors. When she moved back home with her mom.
When I first, moved home with my mom, I noticed him. She was like, this Mr. Jones, he lived next door.
Okay, it is Ms. Jones that is playing detective in this case, but it is not bad for one's mother to have their back anyway, as long as the mother isn't meddling negatively. So the mothers were involved in Ms. Milan and Mr. Jones getting together. It was even looking like an ordained movement, but you never know.
Why were you entertaining this?
We started off, we were just friends. I'll go outside, smoke, he'll play with the boys, my 6 other boys. Eventually they got the mom.
So he became close with the kid, he would play with the kids?
Yeah, he became real close.
And did you enjoy that interaction, having someone there, a father?
Ms. Milan says she enjoyed Mr. Jones being a father figure to her 6 boys while he played around with them. Hello? Who wouldn't? Most single mothers would jump at that opportunity. It's rare to see any man want to fill in that kind of really deep void, but Mr. Jones stepped up.
Sexual relations, I didn't take it, serious at the time. I was with my ex at the time, so.
Oh, you were? You were still with your ex?
Yeah, so that's when I kind of, leaned back off of Mr. Jones.
Yeah, no one should be having sex with their friends. It never ends well. But why was Ms. Milan even having sex with the neighbor anyway? Because he was helping with the kids or what?
So, Mr. Jones, you thought this was just, what?
I feel like once I approached her, you know what I'm saying, I tried to make her my lady, she chose her ex over me.
You felt like you were, runner-up?
Yeah.
Oh, so Mr. Jones already even went all out to ask Ms. Milan to be his lady and she turned him down? Oh no. How do you expect the man to see you afterwards, ma'am? Nobody likes to be the second option, especially not to a woman with 6 whole kids. That's a little bit over the top, Ms. Milan, and y'all can bet on it that the ex in question was no good. Anyway, Ms. Milan says she cut her ex off immediately. She started having sexual relations with Mr. Jones. Okay.
Children, said the doctor told me.
Why'd you say you couldn't have children, Mr. Jones?
Because I used to play sports in school or whatever, so I had to, have a full body physical.
Unable to have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jones thought he couldn't have kids? Now here's the reason he's doubting the paternity of that baby more than anything. Ms. Jones was being too sweet with her, allowing Ms. Milan and her 6 kids to come live at her house. That's something only a person with a big heart would do.
Ms. Milan and the children at first?
Yes, he left.
When I left, I didn't come back home from the bar or whatever like that. And she seen that I ended up conversating with my ex, so they started an argument. So I left that day. And when I left, I went to a bar with my friends or whatever like that. My ex so happened to appear there.
So Mr. Jones was also caught up on his ex, and that turned out to be a problem. But did that ex just appear there, or she and Mr. Jones had already planned to meet there? Let's be honest, this isn't a cute movie scene. Seeing how Mr. Jones is laughing, that surely means his ex didn't just appear.
3.5 weeks pregnant. I was like, by who? You know what I'm saying? She said it's a possibility, it's yours. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Then she was like, I had sex with my ex or whatever like that. So she was like, it's a possibility it could have been him too.
So she tells you?
She tells
right off the
bat.
bat.
Right off the bat.
It could be yours.
Straightforward.
It could be his.
Mm-hmm. When I found out she stopped taking the birth control, the first thing I done was I gave my son some condoms because she has 6 kids already and I know she's fertile.
Mr. Jones is asking by who, like he didn't engage in the activity to make that happen. However, Ms. Milan happens to be straight up honest with Mr. Jones about her ex being a potential father too. Ms. Jones talking about giving her son condoms because Ms. Milan is fertile, like she could vouch for him that he used them. Let's know if this alleged sterile man birthed this baby or not.
Prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Jones versus Milan, when it comes to 3-month-old Quanil Milan, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Jones, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
I didn't.
My grandson, you say you're sorry. You need to tell him you're sorry.
Look at him.
And you tell him you're sorry. Look at him. Yes, look at him. Maybe that's yours.
But you lied.
We're getting over that. Says it. He is your son. Say you're sorry.
But the test just proves that I was right.
What I do know is she used to take my condoms off to the bathroom, and whatever she did in the bathroom with that condom, I used to lay there.
Oh my God.
She'd take my condom off to the bathroom. I'll take care of that for
What I'm gonna take care of? I'm gonna put it on you too?
No, you gonna hire me
Who
to do
does
it.
that?
You did.
Oh my Lord.
Mr. Dixon is holding on to just one thing that makes him believe that he isn't the father of Ms. Spruill's daughter, but Ms. Spruill believes otherwise, and she's in paternity court to prove to Mr. Dixon that he's indeed the biological father of her baby.
Are furious that you had to file a paternity case against the defendant, Mr. Dixon, due to his denial of your daughter, Skya. You say you know the exact night you conceived, and he is her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dixon, you claim that your relationship with Ms. Spruill was purely sexual.
Mrs. Spruill claims she knows the exact night she conceived baby Skya, so is sure about Mr. Dixon being the baby's father. But Mr. Dixon, on the other hand, claimed one conversation made him know he's in fact not the little girl's father.
Why is he denying paternity?
He flip-flops. One day this is his daughter, the next day it isn't, and I'm tired. I'm irritated. It's to the point that it shouldn't be called for. If this is gonna be your baby 24/7. Don't go back and forth.
So he's going back and forth?
Yes, Your Honor.
1 minute she is, 1 minute.
You can go back and forth trying to get groceries or buying new clothes, but a line has to be drawn when a baby is in question. So Mr. Dixon really needs to pick a side. Maybe he will be able to do that after hearing the DNA test result from Judge Lake today.
Is that true, Mr. Dixon?
No, it's not, Your Honor. I don't claim this child is mine because I have serious doubts about this child. It's been multiple
You just came and
occasions
saw her
to
last
say,
week.
like I said, multiple
You just came
occasions
and seen
to
her
say
last
that
week,
this
though.
girl
Did
is
you go
mine.
see the
You
baby
just
last
came and
week?
saw her last week. Played with her, spent the night with her and all.
Well, you know, I wanted to go check on her because,
Why would you check on a child that's not yours?
well, Your Honor, look here, let me explain it.
Maybe he was just checking on the baby to give paternal love Ma Spruill. But then again, giving paternal love to the baby you don't want to be yours so bad? That's strange, but we can agree Mr. Dixon could just have a soft spot for babies and Skya's own is in excess. Regardless of the situation, Mr. Dixon has some explanation to do.
First, I want to start about my doubts about this child. Would you like me to step into the board and explain this diagram to you?
You brought an exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see.
Let me brought this down. Well, as you can see, I have a family that works at a store. On this particular day, my family member wanted to present Skya around. So one day she went to work and was like, hey, we're so excited about our newest family member, Skya.
That was a very great depiction in the form of an animation. We are getting stringed into this, but wait. Mr. Dixon's interesting depiction boldly explained how the conversation that made him believe he's not the girl's father. And to be fair, anyone would have doubts if someone popped out of nowhere to say your baby belonged to their brother. Oh, there's also the part where Ms. Spruill is a compulsive liar. Now we need to dig deeper.
When she was pregnant, she said I slipped and fell in the tub.
Your
You
sister
texted me
took me to the hospital.
you texted me saying you in the ER the whole entire time, but once I'm on the phone,
His
you in the
sister
living
took
room.
me to the hospital. And as far as the co-worker telling his family member, that same co-worker got on the phone with me and his family member and let it be known his family member was mistaken. He wasn't even around. The other male let it be known he's lying.
Okay, Ms. Spruill. The coworker came back to say another thing, but can we believe his words though? The coworker said what he said earlier without anyone asking him to, but Ms. Spruill wants the court to believe the coworker is now telling the truth after she hit him up. That's suspicious.
She had one phone that she used to be on the internet and she posts her whole entire life on Facebook. She has another phone where she texts and calls. She plays like she's two people on Facebook.
He has We have no communication because, like I said,
he's not allowed to have your main number, and he's the father of your child.
Mr. Dixon ran off to Alabama when his daughter was 1 month old, to say he was working.
Making babies? Well, maybe Mr. Dixon was onto something we don't know about just yet. Ms. Spruill believes Mr. Dixon is just trying to get away from his responsibilities to make things easier for himself, but Ms. Spruill doesn't look like she would allow him. But then again, that's only if the baby is truly his baby.
He's down in Alabama making babies, but he's using your child's photo.
Oh, yeah, she was all on his Facebook until the baby mama found out. Then my daughter just disappeared.
First of all,
no
Your Honor,
pictures, no
them
nothing.
pictures was not on there when I moved to Alabama. Them pictures was up there before
Your Honor,
I moved
I
to
have
Alabama.
evidence.
Ms. Spruill, you have evidence.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Jerome, thank you. You say he accepted the baby at first, and this is your evidence to prove it.
Having pregnancy symptoms on behalf of your woman is funny and weird at the same time. Ms. Spruill won't stop yelling like she's been waiting for this moment to unleash her anger on Mr. Dixon all her life. She's finally getting the opportunity, and she's not letting it go.
You so sure this is my child, but yet I'm not on the birth certificate.
You weren't there when she was born. What
That's
you
your
mean?
excuse, but yet
you
we kept
wasn't
talking
there.
about me putting myself on the birth certificate, and I even came up with money to change her last name. But you kept pushing it off. But you so sure this is my child. Why is you instead of pushing it off?
Because you don't do
and I'm
anything
coming up
for
with
her.
money
That is a
to
privilege.
change.
So when he came up with the money to change her last name, why not do it?
Mr. Dixon claims another reason he doubts the paternity of the child is because Ms. Spruill wouldn't allow him out his name on the birth certificate. But Ms. Spruill says he wasn't present at the birth and hasn't earned the right to sign to be the baby's father. Now, we really need to know if Mr. Dixon is the biological father of this baby or otherwise.
Spruill versus Dixon. When it comes to 13-month-old Gaia Spruill, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Dixon, you are the father.
Ms. Thomas is in paternity to prove to Mr. Nelson that baby Jakia is his baby, while Mr. Nelson in on the other side of the room claiming he doesn't believe he's the biological father of the child because Ms. Thomas have been sharing her body to the public at the same time she was doing with him.
Ms. Thomas, you claim you spent 6 years in a relationship with the defendant, Mr. Taylor, and gave him 5 beautiful children. In return, he cheated on you and is now questioning the paternity of your youngest child, 8-month-old Jakai. You are here to prove paternity and win him back. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, Ms. Thomas is also here to win Mr. Nelson back after the test shows he fathered the baby in question. It doesn't seem like that will be possible seeing how another Ms. is seated close to Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson claimed he's always home taking care of the babies, while Ms. Thomas is gone allegedly doing what she knows how to do best.
Why do you believe Mr. Nelson is denying your baby?
The only thing that I can think of is because he recently got married.
Is that true, Mr. Nelson?
No, it's not, Your Honor. It was good in the beginning when we first started having children. And then after that, it's like me and her started like both doing our own little thing. We was already about to split, but she ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, she was already messing around with other guys.
Okay, Mr. Nelson won't stop hammering on his point that Ms. Thomas was sleeping around with other men. And that's the reason he's doubting paternity. But Ms. Thomas is in good spirits, as she's smiling and telling the court that she wasn't sleeping around with other men during the conception of baby Jakia. So who are we going to believe? The man that is married, or the woman that claims she was loyal to her man?
But when you first got together, what was your relationship like?
Our relationship, it was good. That was my best friend. We did everything together.
Take your time. I know it's hard. You have...
Your Honor, we was both young at the time, and we was both new to the whole parent thing. After that, we started getting, we done got older and grew, and it's like we grew apart away from each other. And
Trying to make what relationship work exactly, Ms. Thomas? What exactly was there to hold on to? Mr. Nelson used to be Ms. Thomas' best friend, but things change, Ms. Thomas, and so do people. But it seems Ms. Thomas believes Mr. Nelson will find his way back to her. Maybe not.
Carolina, so I was like, I'm gonna give you another chance. And she was like, all right. I said, so you're gonna delete everything out your phone and everything, change your number and everything.
So wait a minute, you had 4 children together and then you find out Miss Thomas is with another guy?
Yes, that's
How did you find that out?
The dude picture was popping up on her phone.
It didn't start like that. He decided to leave because at that time we did grow apart.
I used to find stuff on her purse and everything. She was like, I'm going to work today.
Whether it was men or one man, it has made Mr. Nelson believe he isn't the father of the 5th child. Also, Mr. Nelson is pissed Ms. Thomas always leaves him at home with the 4 children while she was out having the time of her life. Maybe Ms. Thomas will have an explanation for that, though.
Get in a relationship with this one man as retaliation for his cheating?
Basically. So he seen how I felt all them years he cheated on me. He felt it. And so
how long had you all been together when you discovered she was cheating?
We was like,
5?
Yeah.
5 years.
Yes.
And 4 children.
Yes.
So Jakai is potentially your 5th child together.
Oh, it's all about a revenge plot where Miss Thomas wanted Mr. Nelson to realize it's wrong to cheat? Then she goes ahead to do the same thing. But all of these while parenting 4 children? That's nasty work. Taking turns to cheat like the children didn't matter is just plain wrong.
The intention of getting pregnant or not getting pregnant?
He actually wanted me to get pregnant.
She told me
so
on my
my
did
tracker,
all them days like that because
on
she
my
was having unprotected sex
no,
with that guy.
on my tracker,
She
Your
said,
Honor,
so every
as
time I
you
messed
can
with him, she said that's why every time she had sex with him, that's why she put it on the calendar like that.
So in October, around the 28th is when your cycle begins.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in November, we see where your cycle ends.
A slip-up? Could this case get any worse? Miss Thomas and Mr. Nelson keep playing games and tracking sex occurrences when there are enough babies on ground to care for? Whew!
She honest, I'm not gonna lie, she do be honest.
I told him.
So what did you say? You just came to him and said, I have something to tell you?
We weren't having sex. We was never having sex no more.
We
2
weren't.
months go by, 3. I'm like, I started calling my friends and stuff. I'm like, yo, if your girl don't have sex with you.
And you were?
I was.
Thomas, when you told Mr. Nelson you were pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
What was his response?
Oh, honesty for something like this isn't really commendable because it doesn't change the fact that it was wrong. But then again, Mr. Nelson has been going all out on having fun his own way. If we say these two deserve each other, well, there are other parties involved in this mess, the innocent children and the new wife.
I have text messages also that we still mess around, still to this day.
You mighty quiet now, Mr. Nelson.
No, me and her, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna tell my wife right in front. I apologize.
The video is dated April 3rd, which would have been the first day or so that she had showed up in Greensboro. All I know is I saw her demeanor when she came around.
So they were still messing around even after the new marriage? Y'all see, they deserve each other. The wife seems to be hurt, but who wouldn't be seeing your husband and his baby mama still getting at it? We can just get to the result and wait for these two to make up because they seem to still be locked in.
In the case of Thomas versus Nelson, when it comes to 8-month-old Jakai Thomas, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Nelson, you are the father.
Ms. Fisher wants to prove Mr. Meyer wrong concerning the paternity of her second son with him. But Mr. Meyer believes she's lying as he knows for a fact that the baby doesn't belong to him.
You say you thought you found the perfect older man to start a relationship and family with, but after having your first child and getting pregnant again, you claim he abandoned you and denied he fathered your second child, Xavier. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Meyer, you contend Miss Fisher was a serial cheater.
Mr. Meyer claims he wasn't even with Miss Fisher when she conceived baby Xavier, so there's no way on God's green earth that it was possible for him to have fathered the child, and that meant it was possibly one of Ms. Fisher's alleged numerous sexual encounters with other men that led to the pregnancy of the child.
Lived together for about 3 years. We found out that after the new year we were going to have a second son. Him knowing that, he decided he didn't want anything to do with me. I ended up living with another family member, just to better our lives. We were doing a switch off back and forth, watching our son together, and after that we got into a lot of disagreements, just arguing a lot.
Ms. Fisher claims Mr. Meyer abandoned her and the kids after he got to know about the second baby and left her to figure it out on her own. And even when they tried to talk things out, it always went downhill because it was filled with arguments and misunderstandings. Now we have to hear Mr. Meyer's side of the story.
Xavier's 9 months old. You say you haven't done anything because Xavier's not your child?
No, that is not my child.
Explain your position to the court.
We were not together when she got pregnant with Xavier. She's cheated on me multiple times. I came home, I found my mattress flipped over. I came home, I found multiple people in my bedroom.
Mr. Meyer says since he had met his bed flipped over and a couple of folks back at his crib, it definitely meant Miss Fisher was giving her cookie out and the baby doesn't belong to him. Also, Mr. Meyer believes the reason Mrs. Fisher didn't allow him to name the first child Junior must be because he isn't his child too. Okay, Mr. Meyer.
For some reason that one of these children were not his after 3 years of having the first one, would you not take a DNA test from initial?
I asked you how many times about a DNA test? How many times did I ask you?
I don't know, Mike, you tell me.
I thought Michael was mine. I took care of her for 2.5 years.
Hold on. I want to understand this. You all were in a relationship living together during the window of time when Xavier was conceived?
Mr. Meyer is running his idea of not being these babies' fathers on assumptions resulting from emotions. Starting to doubt paternity after 3 years is valid, but the part where she named the baby the second instead of Junior, or because of mattresses getting flipped, don't sound reasonable enough for the doubt.
Take me back to the day she told you she was pregnant. What happened?
Well, she explained to me and told me she was pregnant. At the time before that, we were kind of on and off. We were fighting constantly. I don't think we were really together at that time. I know she was with other guys. I really didn't think the kid was mine at all. There was a chance the kid was mine. The dates didn't add up when she told me. She constantly changed her due dates. Nothing made sense. It added up.
Mr. Meyer really doesn't sound like he has any cogent evidence that Ms. Fisher cheated on him and the kids aren't his. Ms. Fisher sounds like the cool one in the relationship, seeing how she's handling her responses to Mr. Meyer that is trying to get away from taking care of his sons.
You're saying you tell him you're pregnant and his response is, I don't want anything to do with the child.
Yes.
Why is that your response? What information do you have which leads you to believe she was even sleeping with somebody else?
What proof, Mike?
As I said, all right, my neighbor told me some guys crawled out the window. Who was that? Who crawled out the window?
I would like to know myself.
Oh, well, you were there, obviously.
Someone crawling out of the window might be a little far-fetched considering the person could have used the door since Mr. Meyer wasn't around. And coming from an old woman? Okay, Mr. Meyer.
Let me tell you about the biggest fight we've ever had. This will be something, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm having a bad day. I'm working at the time. We were working at the same place. I had to work a double. I was sick and not feeling good. I finally get off work. I call her. She's picking me up. I didn't have a car at the time. I wasn't driving. I'm calling and calling and calling. She doesn't answer the phone. I'm upset. I start walking. She comes to pick me up.
So what was in her hair then? Mr. Meyer can just be direct with his words. Even if it was what everyone thinks it was, why wouldn't she wash it off before hopping in the car to go pick up her man? Something is not adding up.
You know, the kid's not mine. I miss the kid to death. She wants to make me sound like I'm some low-life bum. I took care of that kid better than any person in the world. I was a good dad to Michael for the whole, 2.5, 3 years I was there for him.
Wait.
Your Honor.
You're saying you were really upset. It wasn't over not being there for Xavier when he was born.
I know Xavier's not my...
So you are 100% positive Xavier's not your child?
Yes.
How is Mr. Meyer so sure he's not the father when he has done a DNA test? You don't just assume a baby doesn't belong to you because they don't look like you. As a matter of fact, we need to know if Mr. Meyer fathered Xavier or not because his excuses don't hold up.
In the case of Fisher versus Meyer, when it comes to 9-month-old Xavier Fisher, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Meyer, you are the father.
Ms. Whitaker wants Mr. Schrull to take responsibility for his role as a father to their daughter, but Mr. Schrull is convinced he's not the father of Ms. Whitaker's baby, and he wants her to exit his life as soon as the DNA test result reads that he's not the father. Okay, Mr. Schrull.
Ms. Whitaker, you've summoned Mr. Schrull to court to prove that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Brinley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say that Mr. Schrull has doubt only because of his conniving and manipulative mother, and you want him to man up and take care of his responsibilities. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Schrull, you claim you are not Brinley's father, and once you prove your case, you never want to see or hear from Ms. Whitaker again.
Oh, wow. Mr. Schrull is in paternity court with his mother, who can be seen smiling as she looks up to her baby boy. On the other hand, Ms. Whitaker believes Mr. Schrull's mother is the reason Mr. Schrull wouldn't even accept he's the father of her daughter. We are about to find out how all of these came to be.
Whitaker, why do you blame Mr. Schrull's mother for his denial?
Because he's a mama's boy. She has never done anything but come in between our relationship. Even when we were having fights in our relationship, she was always in the middle of it. It was never just me and him, it was me, him, and his mother.
Are you a mama's boy, Mr. Schrull?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
A mama's boy? That may be a big problem, and also, it's not a problem when the boy knows how to differentiate his love life and mummy's time. But we can't doubt Ms. Whitaker's word because Mr. Schroll's mother is right next to him, patiently waiting for her turn to enter the conversation and probably make or mar it as usual, like she allegedly always does in their relationship.
Do you believe your mother has come in between your relationship with Ms. Whitaker?
There were times that she would, but
Explain.
It was just to protect me.
How long were you all dating?
2.5 years.
Really? Take me back to that relationship.
We fell in love from the beginning. We were never separated. We probably spent 3 days apart in the entire almost 3 years we were together.
The parents let them spend the nights together? We are all shocked, but let's just assume they were trying to keep them under the right supervision. But then again, the right supervision looks like it turned out ugly, seeing how they are in paternity court trying to know who the real baby daddy is.
At one point, we were completely living together. Him and his mother moved into my house with me and my mother. And
What? They moved into the house with you and your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And you all were having sex and both mothers knew it?
Yes.
I've never heard of such, Ronnie.
Several times a day.
What in the world?
Exactly. What in the world was that? From Mama's boy and his mama moving into Ms. Whitaker and her mother's apartment, to both mothers knowing how hard their children were going at it right in the same house they were? That is unbelievable. So what exactly does Ms. Schroll's mother even have to say when she allowed such a thing to happen? This is a whole lot to take in.
We're all living together. Why do you say she doesn't like you and she was interfering in a relationship? Sounds like she was putting it together.
She was always in the middle of our relationship. She even made the comment one time that I can't wait till you're 18 because I'm going to beat you. And then when she found out I was pregnant, she said, I guess I can't do it anymore now.
Mr. Schroll, did you know your mother didn't care for Ms. Whitaker?
She cared for her. I don't know where that she didn't care for her comes from, because anytime Miss Whitaker needed to talk to her, she'd come to my mom. She'd call her Mama.
Really? Did you call his mother Mama?
Yes, because we were together for 2.5 years. Our families were each other's families.
That's sweet and romantic. But what was that again about Mr. Schroll's mother promising to beat Ms. Whitaker when she turned 18? Ma'am, they are giving you a place to stay. But you still want to hurt her but change your mind when she got pregnant? Oh, sweet Lord Jesus. This is a mess.
What had happened? Her mom had passed away.
Okay.
And she got put in a foster home, and once she turned 18, she went with family.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Whitaker.
Very
sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so at that time, you all were separated. You were no longer living together.
I was fed up with it. I was getting constant accusations of cheating, and I never once cheated on her.
Oh, that's sad, and everyone feels sorry for Ms. Whitaker. But without missing out the big part of the story, Ms. Whitaker admitted to cheating on her boyfriend while she was in foster care, but it didn't happen the way Mr. Schroll had explained it. So now we need to hear Ms. Whitaker's side of the story, as Judge Lake said.
When my mother died, I got taken into DHR custody. I was only 17. I was 8 months from being 18. Anyway, they put me with my aunt. And me and Christian were fighting all the time. I was hormonal, I was pregnant. His mother refused to let him come to my doctor's appointments.
Okay, hold that story right there. I want to get to it. So you're pregnant at the time when this fighting?
Yes.
Again, sorry about that, Ms. Whitaker. Ms. Whitaker had experienced a loss and thought she would be getting a replacement. But Mr. Schroll's mother didn't give her the chance to allow her joy to last a long time.
This started at her house. And I begged her mother, please don't let this happen. It's not happening at my house. Y'all are too young for this kind of relationship. Her mother couldn't do anything with her.
Please don't bring my mother into this, because she's dead and she can't defend herself, and I would very much appreciate it if you kept her out of it.
If I cannot speak of her.
All right. When you found out she was pregnant, did you think the baby was your grandchild?
I did, because my son believed.
No, you didn't. You told me from the beginning that's not his child.
Mr. Schroll's mother says she wasn't okay with them sleeping together. Ms. Whitaker admits cheating, but that it never happened 7 times as Mr. Schroll and his mother claims. And there's a couple of holes in the story. Maybe we should get to the part where we know if Mr. Schroll is the father or not.
Mr. Schroll, you are her father.
I am.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
Then I apologize. I apologize for everything. I really do. I'm sorry I put you through this.
I'm just so happy after 2 years that you finally know you can finally start being there.
And I will be.
Thank you, brother. Can I give you a hug, Lindsay, please?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Luce wants Mr. Zuniga to step up and do his duties as a father to the baby they had supposedly made together, as it takes two to tango. But Mr. Zuniga claims he would go to the end of the world to prove he isn't Ms. Luce's baby daddy.
Suing the defendant for $2,716.86 back child care expenses for your son Marley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say there's no need for a paternity test because you're certain he is your baby's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Zuniga, you say you don't owe her a dime. Because you're not her son's father, you've petitioned the court for a lie detector test.
Ms. Luce even thinks the DNA test is unnecessary because she's as sure as hell that her baby's biological father is Mr. Zuniga, but Mr. Zuniga objects to that fact and is even willing to take a lie detector test to further prove his case. We are about to find out who's lying in Judge Lake's paternity court.
Why do you feel like Mr. Zuniga has completely abandoned you and your son?
For the first 4 months of my son's life, he was there. He stepped up. He was a man. He wanted to be his father. He was excited about everything. And then all fell through. He abandoned us. I had to take care of my son alone on my own. I had to pay for every little bit of the expenses, all the diapers, all the wipes, every single piece of clothing he needed. I have the receipts here.
Ms. Luce wants at least half of the financial resources she has silent in raising her and allegedly Mr. Zuniga's baby. Nunya Zuniga's face still looks like he ain't gonna pay anything to Ms. Luce regardless of what the result turns out to be, because he knows for sure the baby isn't his.
Everything was going well and then he abandoned you. Why? Why do you think that happened?
He hasn't seen him in a little over a year. He hasn't seen him since he was 4 months old. My son has no idea who he is.
Mr. Zuniga, did you abandon them?
First of all, Your Honor, I didn't feel like I abandoned him. At first, I never really thought the kid was mine. From day one, she seemed easy. We had sex the first day.
Oh, Mr. Zuniga seemed to have tried to be a good father to the baby as he spent his entire tax money on the baby. But it's like Mr. Zuniga's mindset took a different turn when he found out about something we don't know yet.
Understand your doubt.
First of all, I never really knew her.
Okay, you slept with her, right?
I met her.
Oh no, answer my
through a
question.
mutual friend.
You
Yes.
slept with her, right?
Yes.
Did you use protection? Well, you know her now.
Well, I found out that she never really stayed in relationships long, and that she liked to jump from guy to guy.
Miss Luz, were you sleeping with other men when you were sleeping with Mr. Zuniga?
No, not one.
Now we know where Mr. Zuniga's major doubts stemmed from. Mr. Zuniga seemed to have remembered he has been sterile for a while, and there could be no possibility of him fathering Ms. Luce's baby. That's fair, Mr. Zuniga, but miracles do happen anyway.
You haven't slept with anybody else in your mind.
I was committed when we first started hanging out. I stayed at home with my godbrother, taking care of his kids until he got off work.
Your Honor, may I add something?
Yes, sir. What would you like to add?
While I was at work, I asked her what she used to do, and she used to tell me she was going to her brother figure house and getting her moped fixed.
Brother figure? Husband? Wait a minute. What is Ms. Luce really being up to for real? Isn't she supposed to be at work too to secure a better life and good future for her child? Now this is confusing. Who is the brother figure and who is the husband?
Ms. Luce, have you had a relationship with this man?
I did have sex with him. There was the relationship, but that was after we split. The brother figure he's talking about is my godbrother. I had to help him raise his kids. That's where I was living.
But you weren't sleeping with him?
No.
Do you have any reason why Mr. Zuniga doubts you so much?
I honestly believe it's only because he thinks he's sterile and that he can't have kids.
Okay, Ms. Luce has given a better explanation of the supposed brother figure and the one-time thing she had with the other man. Ms. Luce claims Mr. Zuniga is just bothered due to his infertility issues, but to be honest, it's fair if that's his only reason, but there seems to be more reasons anyway.
You left me, how you got with that one guy from the park, and then right after that you started getting with the bouncer.
With a bouncer?
While you were with him.
No, I was only with two different people at separate times after I slept with him.
Two together?
Not 2.5 weeks, maybe.
Did you say 2.5 weeks?
Yes, Your Honor. As far as I know, she could have been pregnant before I even got with her.
Okay, there were other guys involved in the picture, that's fine. However, these two already took their nakedness out of the way within 2 weeks of knowing each other. Where's the decency?
Explain to the court how you feel about this situation.
I love my son, don't get me wrong. I really honestly love my son, and I would be on my son's side, but his reasonings are crazy to me. What makes you have a baby? Sex. What did they do? Have unprotected sex. Clear to the courts of how much they look alike.
First of all, Your Honor, my mom She's always wanted me to have kids. Once I got of age, I got older and started.
Oh my goodness, no.
Plot twist. Mr. Zuniga's mother is on Ms. Luce's side, and that turns everything around. Mr. Zuniga's mother doesn't care whether her son is fertile or not. He had unprotected sex and a potential child, so she's backing up Ms. Luce's claim. Let's find out if both of these women's claims will be justified.
Mr. Zuniga, you are his father.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. My grandson, you say you're sorry. You need to tell him you're sorry.
But look at him.
And you tell him you're sorry. Look at him. Yes, look at him. Maybe that's yours.
But you lied.
Mr. Williams feels cheated that Ms. Smith is trying to put a stain on his name as Ms. Smith is dragging Mr. William to court for abandoning his now 22-year-old daughter for years. Mr. Williams wants justice as he wants to find out about the paternity of the child in question.
Mr. Williams, you have brought Ms. Annette Smith to court today claiming she scammed you into paying child support on her 22-year-old daughter, Clarissa. You say you use condoms at all times, so you cannot be Clarissa's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You plan to prove your case today and return to court in your home state to dispute the $36,742.43 in child support arrears that you owe.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oops, it's a long way from home in every aspect. Only that money would make almost any man deny paternity for sure. But that's not even Mr. Williams' reason. Mr. Williams says he used protection every time, so there was no way Ms. Smith could have carried his baby.
I believe Ms. Smith has been scamming you all these years.
The scam is child support. You file child support against me when you don't have proof. I have never signed a birth certificate. I've never been proven that I was the father of the child.
Were you having a sexual relationship with Ms. Smith during the time the child was conceived?
I don't know.
Ms. Smith is in the stand smiling while Mr. Williams is rattled about not accepting the fact that he's the father of 22-year-old Clarissa. Mr. Williams doesn't even know the time he was messing around with Ms. Smith. But one thing he knows for sure is that he's not getting scammed to pay child support for a child he believes isn't his.
You even find out you were on child support?
Well, I found out when I did labor-ready work to get some extra cash. Woke up 5 o'clock in the morning, spent 11 hours on the job. Usually it's an $80 a day, turned to a $7 a day based on child support. So I'm like, I can't do this. I can't work 11-hour day for $7. I can't do it.
Oh, wow. Mr. Williams didn't like that he was getting short paid when he was working his ass off for 11 hours a day. Okay, Mr. Williams, that's what happens when you don't pay up for child support.
Figuring like I left, they gave her a window of opportunity to put me on child support.
And so how has having this responsibility to pay this support, how has this affected your life?
Big. I mean, I've been held to not being able to get to my fullest ability to make a lot of outstanding money.
When I met Eli, he never had a job.
That's what
I paid for everything.
No, that's not true.
Eli had money when he got into a car accident.
Oh, my goodness.
Me Williams is saying something while Ms. Smith is saying another thing. It looks like these two have different stories about what their relationship was really about before it potentially led to the birth of Clarissa.
I paid
Why?
For
you knew more about me than I knew about you.
He was my best friend. But the only time Eli had money is when he got into that car accident.
Oh.
He got mad at me because I didn't show up at the hospital. This is why he is so good out of 22 years.
I never got mad at nobody.
Ms. Smith, you say this was a real relationship.
Yes, ma'am, it was. There you go, right there.
You all were boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes.
No.
Ms. Smith is standing her ground that she and Mr. Williams had a relationship prior to her getting pregnant with Clarissa, but Mr. Williams' brain isn't providing him with the same information because he feels nothing like that happened in their story.
What was his
The
reaction?
same night.
What day? What night?
Yep.
What night?
Yes, I did.
What was his reaction?
Yeah, what was my reaction?
I forgot the name he wanted.
Did I say hell
I forgot
no?
the name that he wanted me to name, but he wanted me to have a boy.
What?
He
But
knew.
he seemed happy about it.
Yes, ma'am, he did.
But sir, you
I
don't
wouldn't fly to
remember this day.
California like that.
I do not remember this whole conversation, what she's talking about, because it never happened.
Okay.
Mr. Williams seems not to remember anything at all about the relationship details and even the pregnancy revelation. Mr. Williams is starting to act like he's doing it on purpose just to avoid the child support situation.
The DNA test, sir, and you didn't.
No, I didn't.
And I got his
Because
address
for
when I
one,
went to
let me
California
tell
to
you,
see him.
See, and now she's moving too far ahead for herself because when she went to
'Cause
California,
I'm telling the truth.
She went to California to scope out my situation.
No, I come to
That's
get
what
your
she came out there
address
for.
so I can send them people the letter.
You sent them to the wrong address because that
No,
was
I
the address
didn't. I
you was
sent
at.
it to your father's
That was
house.
right.
He
What
just
you
stick it to
did
his
is you had somebody send some service papers.
Maybe Ms. Smith has to do that because she knew Mr. Williams would mess things up and deny paternity of the child like he's currently doing. The DNA test could have made everything easy anyway. Mr. Williams thinks Ms. Smith just wanted to scam him, but Ms. Smith is asking where the money at, since he ain't got no money.
So every job I get, they get letters that say, oh, we gotta take out for this, we gotta take out for that. So I'm not working for free. I can't work for free. And she said I was broke. That's no serious matter. I always had money. My family got money. My family come from money. We still got money.
You ain't got no money.
How much you want a BET? I'm not denying, because at that point in time in my life, none of this was available to me to find out a blood test and all this stuff, because I didn't know nothing about it.
Okay, Mr. Williams just made it clear that he just didn't want to pay any money to Ms. Smith since he knew for sure that Clarissa isn't his daughter. Maybe it's time we find out if the 22-year-old woman is truly Mr. Williams' daughter or not.
Mr. Williams, you are her father.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.